fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 8,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
It's 5:11, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. A service of Lowe's. Don't miss store-wide savings during the truckload event at Lowe's right now. Save on major appliances. Get an additional 10% off in-store clearance appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/9. Exclusions apply. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Kennedy sits at about 18 minutes right now from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange and climbing brake lights as you hit Lawrence Avenue. 55 inbound, Will County. We have slowdowns due to construction southbound between Weber and Renwick. Chicago's Morning Answer. Dan and Amy start next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A bit of sun. It'll be hazy today, high 92. Partly cloudy, warm, humid tonight, low 74. A severe morning thunderstorm tomorrow. Partly sunny, breezy, and the high 90. Hotter on Thursday, partly sunny with a high 94. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now, 71 at O'Hare, 71 Lakefront, 61 in Aurora, 66 in Naperville, and your Lake Michigan water temperature is 73. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Hey, let me tell you about our age analysis assessment. It takes just a few seconds to scan for those advanced glycated end products that cause premature aging. And then we'll briefly go over your results and give you a few things for you to do to improve. And then we'll retest you in about 60 days. And you'll pay our special low price for your first assessment, and I'll pay for your second one. That's right, your follow-up age analysis assessment is on me. And we're going to compare your biologic age with your chronologic age, and then we're going to help you determine if your biologic age is on par with your chronologic age. But you got to make that call today, not tomorrow, but today. It's our HealthQuest radio hotline, 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. Second assessment free if you make that call right now, 800-794-1855. It's HealthQuest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, Saturday mornings at 11.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Freedom Square is an unbelievable service designed to unite freedom-loving Americans. I know these guys. They love their country and they're doing an amazing job. You can log on now to create your free personalized dashboard. All of your favorite news sites, podcasters, all on one site, all at your fingertips. Sign up your business right now at freedomsquare.com and start connecting with freedom-loving Americans. Look, people want businesses they can support. You want to know the good guys from the bad guys. That's freedomsquare.com. Log on right now and create your personalized dashboard. Join us in the fight, so check it out. freedomsquare.com. Freedom lives here.
Let's welcome our new Freedom Square Business Network members. Lore TV, DS Arms Lake Barrington, Villa Park Office Equipment, and Every Black Life Matters. It's time to unite and vote with your dollars. Download the Freedom Square app and register your business right now at freedomsquare.com and start connecting with patriots. Freedom Square. Freedom lives here.
Wealth Health Radio.
The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire?
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts: knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. House Republicans like Jim Banks telling the New York Post in no uncertain terms yesterday, House Republicans should initiate impeachment proceedings against President Biden. The alleged calls that are set to be revealed by Devin Archer, former business partner of Hunter Biden, not yesterday, as initially planned, but Monday, this coming Monday, the 31st, hopefully, it would appear, after a third cancellation of his appearance. Those calls detailing, as we talked about yesterday, hey, boys, I got the big guy here. Big guy, boys. Big guy, boys have something they'd like to talk to you about. Okay. Have a conversation. So that combined with the transcript from the FBI agents, the supervisory agents' testimony last week, essentially corroborating the IRS whistleblowers,
we might have something here. Huh?
Has House Republicans getting a bit antsy. Joe Biden was trading his personal influence to enrich himself and his family and must be held accountable for selling out America, said Banks, the former chairman of the Republican Study Committee, also running for United States Senate in Indiana to backfill the seat held by Mike Braun. So just let's flash back for a minute here, remembering what the big guy said in that now infamous and testy exchange before he was president. This is in 2019. And Peter Ducey putting the question to him back then. It's only been 4 years since we've been asking about this. Actually, as we talked about yesterday, New York Times was reporting on this before he became vice president.
Oh, that's right.
In the fall of 2008, before it was Obama and Biden ascending to the White House, questions about Hunter's payments from big banks at the same time that Senator Biden was working on legislation with respect to consumer bankruptcy that was supported by those same big banks, MBNA in particular, that had Hunter Biden on an alleged $100,000 annual retainer. So this has been going on for at least 2 decades, and Jim Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, said it predates Hunter Biden's foreign affairs. So we're still digging.
He's been at this for decades.
And they're still digging, and they should. They should go back as far as the facts compel them. So 2019, the big guy makes a rare appearance outside of his basement, and Peter Ducey has the opportunity to ask him about if he's, back then it was, have you ever spoken to? Now we're in the parsing of words about have you ever done business with. But anyway, back then, have you ever spoken to baby boy about his business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about going to business.
And so how do you know?
Here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He is violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader, if that's what happened? That appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me. Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there. Ask the right question.
Well, not
he's
everybody.
A bit of a cantankerous fella there, huh? Nice pivot, didn't work, and then started, no, you got to look at Trump.
Well, that's, we ask the right questions, ask him about his phone call with foreign leader. Okay, well, turnabout's fair play, Mr. President. Now, is it okay if we ask you about your alleged phone calls with Hunter Biden's business partners who weren't foreign leaders? It's actually a little bit more disquieting. They were just foreign influence peddlers, an enemy of the state, representing enemies of the state, you know, like the Chinese Communist Party.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us all morning long on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. But, you know, the press asked KJP about this yesterday, and she, again, President Biden has never been involved in Hunter's business ventures. I mean, said it again.
Chairman James Comer today says that the Oversight Committee, has evidence that the president in the past communicated directly with foreign business associates of his son Hunter Biden many times. Curious if the White House and the president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business.
So I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
No, of course not.
The president was never involved in business with his son.
Right. The answer is not going to change no matter how untenable that answer becomes. It will not change. I believe her. I believe her answer will not change. I do believe that. We're getting to the Clintonian territory now. We're going to start hearing things like Joe Biden never spoke with Hunter about his business dealings. He did speak with geopolitically important people who Hunter may have also independently known. And any subsequent compensation that Hunter derived from geopolitically important people that we both independently know really depend, and in terms of my essential influence in that compensation being affected, you know, that really gets into defining what the meaning of the phrase doing business with is. I think we're getting into the territory of redefining phrases like sex. Now it's just doing business with. That's where.
That's a good spin.
I think we're.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think they're going to use that one?
I'm auditioning to be a understudy for KJP. Peter Schweitzer, the author of Clinton Cash, speaking of the Clintonistas, as well as Secret Empires, he was on Fox talking about this a bit. And
Biden himself, Devin Archer is Hunter Biden's most important business partner. When Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board, Devin Archer got a seat on the board as well. When Hunter Biden got that sweetheart deal with that Chinese private equity fund and got put on the board, Devin Archer got the same slot. So he knows where everything is. And it's going to be very, very hard for the Democrats on this committee to do what they did with the whistleblowers, which is argue Joe Biden played no role. The evidence is there, and their defenses keep shifting, and I think Joe Biden is in serious trouble.
Well, right, and it gets more and more difficult to claim vast right-wing conspiracy when you have a gay Democrat from the IRS as a whistleblower, when you have business partners of Hunter Biden testifying to what apparently Devin Archer is going to testify to, for example, that the big guy has been lying to us. Shocking. And he's very much involved in baby boy Hunter's business dealings. More from Schweitzer.
Yeah, we've been at this since 2018. They initially said there were no foreign deals. Then they shifted and said there might have been foreign deals, but the Bidens made no money. Then it became Joe Biden didn't know about any of the deals. Then it became Joe Biden didn't participate in any of the deals. And now it's that he was not in business with his son. Look, the implications for this are huge, Jesse. If you look at that 1023 form that the FBI released, if that document is true, that document reveals that one of the people that was at those meetings that heard the conversations about bribing the Bidens worked for President Zelensky. Who really wants to believe, if that meeting took place and that document is accurate, that that individual did not go and report to President Zelensky what he heard? And again, if that document is true, who wants to believe that President Zelensky and his administration have not used that as leverage over Joe Biden when it comes to negotiations on Ukraine policy? We may all have to start learning the Ukrainian word for compromise, because this is a very clear indication of how this has shaped this administration's policy towards Ukraine and also towards China.
Learn the Ukrainian word for compromise. I love that because it was a favorite word of the Russian collusion hoaxers for 3 years. Schweitzer makes a good point. Here's the implication. Oh, it's not just, enriching themselves. Everybody's corrupt and so on and so forth. It connects the dots potentially to actual public policy decisions, like war and peace decisions. Are there bigger ones? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. By the way, speaking of that FBI agent's testimony, the Federalist is reporting that the Pittsburgh office of the FBI had already corroborated parts of the testimony that was released last week by Chuck Grassley. So it doesn't sound like rogue agent making things up. Sounds like somebody embedded in those rooms with Ukrainian oligarchs who knows what he is talking about, and he's got FBI corroborating what he said. Now, again, FBI is not beyond reproach, but I'm just saying it's another layer that needs to be addressed. Alex in Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I hope all is well. Besides the connections now with this payoff, it's being reported that a big donor in L.A., Elizabeth Naftali, given $1.3 million for Hunter's brilliant paintings, and then was appointed a position with a American Heritage Foundation. So this is a long pattern. And for the first time, I'm hearing this in all the media. I do believe that Joe Biden is not going to be the candidate. I'm quite confident in it now.
Let's get through this
Thanks for
first.
the call, Alex. But, hey, look, can't you be an art collector? She isn't. Can't you be a Hunter Biden blow art collector and also serve your country? They'll tell you. Okay, try and sell that. It's about as compelling as Hunter's blow art. Tony in Downers Grove.
All right, well, this is all great. You know, what does this do to help Republicans gain the White House?
I'll tell you what it does. It puts Kamala in the White House. Puts it in the Oval Office. That's what it does if Joe Biden got sidelined before January of 2025, before the election in 2024. It puts Kamala in the Oval Office. Would that help Republicans? I think so.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 5:38, anatomy of the disintegration of a city not named Chicago, but bears some striking similarities these days. San Francisco, 5:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Welcome back, Mike Scott. I have to ask, how was your son's wedding?
Son's wedding was perfect.
Do you have photos?
I do.
Did you do the chicken dance?
I did not.
Good for you.
I did not. I refused.
Way to have some self-respect.
And we didn't have a chicken dance, although we did have several popular line dances that I also did not.
Lambada? No lambada?
No lambada,
Country.
but the Macarena did show up once or twice in the
well,
the
congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for you and your wife and your
Peter
family.
and Hannah are off to the East Coast, and we'll see them whenever they get back. 71 degrees at 5:32 on AM 560, The Answer. And you know this, but just make sure you're careful this week. Hottest weather of the summer, heat indices over 100, hydrate, and all of that stuff. Also, watch your air quality this week. It's going to be impacted as well. The lead prosecutor in the case against President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, says he's willing to testify publicly this fall. It's an offer by the Justice Department, setting up a clash with House Republicans who have demanded U.S. Attorney David Weiss of Delaware come in for a closed-door interview. Meantime, the White House says the president was never, quote, in business, end quote, with his son, Hunter.
I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, but Representative James Comer of Republican is sharing his thoughts on the Bidens and a potential hearing coming up shortly.
We know a lot about what Joe Biden's involvement was. We're at the point to where we need people to come in under oath and go into more detail, because I think all roads point to Joe Biden. I think any reasonable American would see that.
Devin Archer, a former best friend and business associate of Hunter Biden in Ukraine, is expected to testify under oath to Congress on July 31st. Her statement, and by the way, Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez is in stable but serious condition this morning. He shot himself in the head on a Florida highway.
Please keep this family in your prayers. This is a man with stellar career in law enforcement, and we want to make sure that we are trying to do everything we possibly can to get him back to full recovery.
Authorities say Sunday's incident happened after a massive movie weekend of Barbie and Oppenheimer. There were big winners. But one of the most important triumphs in the movie-going monsoon of Barbenheimer was apparently originality. Here are two movies that neither sequels nor reboots pushed the box office to highs not seen in years. Total box office in U.S. and Canada over the weekend, more than $300 million. That's the fourth highest ever. Also blowing records out of the water again over the weekend, Sound of Freedom. The faith-based distributor Angel Studios has made now $124 million in 3 weeks. Elon Musk has unveiled a new X logo, replacing Twitter's famous Bluebird as he follows through on a major rebrand of the social media platform he bought for $44 billion last year. No one hurt here in Chicago after a 10-year-old boy fired a shot at Chicago police during a standoff on the far south side. Village of Dixmoor getting $14 million in state taxpayer money. The funding includes $10 million to fund improvements to rehabilitate the village's failing water distribution system. And the CTA has officially begun work on the Forest Park Branch rebuild project. During the first phase, CTA officials tell us Clinton, UIC, Halstead, and Racine stations will remain closed through late August. Chicago sports. White Sox take on the Cubs at guaranteed rate. First pitch, 7:10. And the Bears cleared Chase Claypool for training camp. That gets underway tomorrow. The news, a service of MyPillow. Big news. MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price, now $69.98. Now only $19.98 with promo code Liberty. MyPillow.com, promo code Liberty. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The best conversations happen with a cigar in one hand and a fine drink in the other. Join Dennis Prager live in Chicago for Cigar Night on Thursday, August 24th at Klein Creek Golf Club in Winfield. Presented by Wilkins Mazda and Wilkins Hyundai in Elmhurst. Dennis will be joined by AM 560's Dan Proft and Sean Thompson for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by healthinsurancementors.com and by Blue Star Security.
With Liberty Mutual, you can customize your car insurance to save hundreds. Here's what those savings sound like in dollar bills. Here's what it sounds like in quarters. And here's what that sounds like in cryptocurrency, a thing I totally understand. 1010, I am money, cha-ching, beep boop, $sign.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is Jerry Boyer for Townhall.com. A recent article published by the pro-ESG business publication Fortune says that ESG detractors have basically won. A full half of Fortune 500 CEOs now believe ESG issues are unduly impacting business decisions. Reminder, ESG refers to environment, social, governance investing, an approach originated by the United Nations by which policies rejected in the political process get imposed on companies by Wall Street firms such as BlackRock using your money. It was working for a while. They moved corporate America into the culture wars and charge you extra fees to do it. It's becoming increasingly clear that they pushed too hard and people like you are waking up. Now ESG is a tarnished brand. The struggle to get business back to business is not over yet, but you're making progress. Keep it up. I'm Jerry Boyer.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
I'm Dave Nissen, CEO of PKF Mueller. As a CPA firm, we have been serving our business clients since 1968 by providing audit, accounting, tax, advisory, and consulting services. We as trusted advisors go beyond what our clients hired us to do by thinking outside the box to understand their operations and industry. We want to discover ways to increase their net income and cash flow by reducing costs or increasing efficiencies. To this end, PKF Mueller provides several client value-added services through strategic relationships. Our partners are specialists and serve the same type of clients that we do and add value by reducing our clients' overall electric and gas costs, discovering inaccuracies and overcharges on utility bills, assisting in financing of real estate, and helping to reduce uncollectible accounts and bad debt expenses. To learn more about our value-added service providers and how we can assist, call me directly at 630-524-5274 or dnissen@pkfmueller.com.
If you speed, there are lots of sounds that you might hear, like the sound of your vehicle crashing, because eventually, speeding catches up with you.
541, quick update on the roads in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Let's start on the inbound Kennedy, rapidly increasing this morning. Inbound jammed up, Foster to Montrose, 23 minutes in from O'Hare into the Burn Circle interchange. We're already seeing delays on inbound I-57 and the Bishop Ford, jamming into the Ryan merge. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continue next. Hazy sunshine in your forecast. An extended period of heat and humidity starts today and a high of 92. 71 right now. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Speaking of Kamala Harris, as we were at the end of last segment, what good would it do to impeach Joe Biden? Well, if you could impeach him and convict him, it would put Kamala Harris in the big guy's chair, and wouldn't that be a fun, let's say, 8-10 months, focusing in on Kamala Harris, and then she could turn right around and run for president from the Oval Office. Wouldn't that be fun for the Democrats?
Yeah. That would be fantastic.
It certainly would be helpful to the Republicans. That cackling popinjay was in Chicago yesterday. Again.
Yeah, again.
Spending a lot of time here.
Well, you know, she was in Florida last Friday ripping on the Board of Education's new Black History curriculum. And then she was here yesterday, just with a bunch of Hispanic union members. There was 1,500 of them at the McCormick Place.
No, she was here with National Council of La Raza, so she was with Latino Marxists, is who she was with. Yeah, she said something I just want to address before we get to the update on the disintegration of America's great big cities, formerly great. What she said about that curriculum in Florida. Charlie Cook over at National Review has a good piece on this. And you don't get to say that about National Review as much as you used to. This is what she said when she was at a convention for black sorority. They keep putting her out on the convention circuit with the Marxists because let's keep her away from what we're doing in D.C. Just yesterday in the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. And we will not stand for this. That's what she said is part of the Florida K-12 curriculum.
Do you want to hear it? And the way she said it, too, she was like, her hair was on fire.
They want to replace history with lies. Middle school students in Florida to be told that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not have it. Instead, they dare to push propaganda to our children. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to do that.
She is such a awful human being.
I know.
So what Charlie Cook did is copy and paste every single reference to slavery, slaves, abolitionism, civil rights, and African Americans in the curriculum, in the state of Florida's curriculum. Yeah. And he attached it to his speech, which I'll tweet out.
Yeah, the National Review, they pointed out that there's 190 other passages that talk about the evils of slavery.
There is nothing even close to that detailed in the curriculum. It's absurd. It is. I mean, you don't believe that people at the upper reaches of public office, maybe some people don't believe this, still clinging to this idea that people at the upper reaches of office would not just make up something out of whole cloth. I hope you're disabused of that notion now. By now, you should be.
And you should, also know that 2 African-American scholars created the curriculum defending it. One being Dr. William Allen. He's a member of Florida's History Task Force. He was on Fox yesterday.
It is the case that Africans proved resourceful, resilient, and adaptive, and were able to develop skills and aptitudes which served to their benefit, both while enslaved and after enslavement.
And finally, they caught up with Governor DeSantis. He was campaigning in Utah.
Absolutely ridiculous. It's totally outrageous. You guys can look on the website of the Florida Department of Education. They got a lot of scholars together to do a lot of standards and a lot of different things, but these are the most robust standards in African American history, probably anywhere in the country. She's going to come down to the state of Florida and try to chirp and try to demagogue.
Professor Allen, by the way, William Allen, who you heard from, we've had on this show before. He's at Michigan State. He's a well-respected historian. And Kamala Harris is a national embarrassment. And just when you think she can't dig any deeper, she digs deeper. So you got to talk about that, and you got to literally make things up out of whole cloth to avoid talking about what places that are dominated by Democrat socialists actually look like these days. Not even CNN is able to avert its eyes anymore. Amy's good friend, Kyung Lowe, was dispatched to San Francisco for the Aaron Burnett show to report on what's happening there. But did you see that video that went viral of this car vaulting off one of the upper streets down a staircase to one of the lower streets, flipping over? It's like something out of a Clint Eastwood movie. And thankfully, it appeared that 2 or 3 people were in the car, were all fine. But as passersby rushed to render help, they got out of the car.
Yeah.
They ran up the stairs. They ran away.
Oh, were they? Obviously, they took something that didn't belong to them, didn't know how to drive it, and flipped off down the stairwell.
I mean, it's really something to behold. Anyway, here's Aaron Burnett with the setup to their report on San Francisco. CNN's report now.
Tonight, San Francisco businesses fed up with crime. One sandwich shop owner is calling for action after he says he was attacked outside his store. He says he yelled at a man to stop urinating on his trash can and then was sucker punched. His Instagram post about the incident has now gone viral.
I'm fed up with this goddamn city. It's like, I can't just be outside and just running a business without getting punched in the goddamn face. It shouldn't be this way at all. Like, this isn't how our city should be.
Now, it's not clear what was said before the altercation or whether there's even video of it. But San Francisco police have said they are investigating.
So
it comes as some stores are locking up everything from coffee to frozen food to try to combat theft. Our Kyung Law visited one Walgreens that's hit by shoplifters more than a dozen times a day. It happened 3 times while she was inside.
Wait. 3 times while she was inside filming. This is great. You'll hear.
Okay.
She walks in, and somebody's walking out without paying for stuff. Then she goes to the kid. Did that guy pay for it? No.
A dozen times a day. Okay, let's.
Dozen times
She
a
said
day.
a dozen times a day.
3 times while the CNN reporter's on site with a camera.
Richie Greenberg walked into a San Francisco Walgreens when he saw in the frozen food section this.
Chains, heavy chains that went from padlock to padlock on both sides of the doors, and this was bizarre, something I'd never seen before. This is just more icing on the cake, telling us that rampant crime has become a regular part of life.
So typical that in the 30 minutes
Trumpster.
we were at this Walgreens, we watched 3 people, including this man, steal.
Did that guy pay? Did that guy pay? He didn't pay.
Walgreens says this Richmond neighborhood store with aisles of products like mustard locked behind plexiglass has the highest theft rate of all their nearly 9,000 U.S. stores, hit more than a dozen times a day. When thieves turned to cleaning out ice cream and frozen burritos, workers grew so frustrated they resorted to the chains. They were ordered down by corporate because of the negative messaging. But Walgreens isn't the only retailer impacted in San Francisco.
You have to ask an employee for help.
At this store, frozen food is controlled with a cable lock. Fake eyelashes locked behind plexiglass, along with lotion and nail polish. At another grocery store, $14 bags of coffee under lock and key.
What is this?
I don't know. I don't understand why coffee. I don't know.
Here she is.
But
Unlocking the
kind of
coffee.
like a police state in San Francisco. I don't know how else to describe it.
It's not part of city life. It's not part of the way people should be living, right? And that includes folks who are committing the crimes.
Marjan Philauer, mom of 3, small business and community advocate, says these visible problems in her city are leading to renewed activism driven by residents, like the recall of the city's district attorney last year.
I think what we've seen, especially in the past couple of years, is less tolerance, more exasperation, and more movement to action by everyday San Franciscans to change how their city is run. It's not enough right now, but there is a change, and I think ultimately we will get there.
San Francisco City Supervisor Matt Dorsey, former police spokesman and recovering drug addict, sees the rampant shoplifting as a systemic problem, from city leaders to an understaffed police force to the fentanyl crisis.
When you're seeing that level of retail theft, that tends to be subsistence level retail theft.
People who are hungry.
People are hungry. There is a level of addiction playing out in many parts of our city. It's happening at levels we really haven't seen in San Francisco. What I'm hearing from my residents and what I'm hearing from San Franciscans is it's time for tough love. We are not doing any addict in this city favors by enabling behavior that is potentially deadly in ways we have never seen.
My goodness.
But listen to the small business owner, community activist, and then the drug addict who I guess now is maybe he's into human trafficking now that he's off the sauce. Subsistence level. There's a great piece by Steve Malanga, who's been on the show many times, writes great commentaries about urban decay. The myth of the starving shoplifter, which you just heard from the supervisor. The retail crime is driven by reduced penalties and organized gangs, not economic hardship
or hunger.
Subsistence level. That's why we have to have $14 bags of coffee behind lock and key. Because
or simple things like lotion or mustard.
Yeah, but subsistence level theft. Explain subsistence level theft, and I have to have all of these things behind, cable locks and plexiglass. That is nonsense. And it gives you an eye into the approach that is being taken despite what you hear from San Francisco residents, like the guy who was talking about this gosh darn city that he's living in, and he can't even operate a gosh darn business without getting punched in the face. And yet, what you hear from the community organizers and the politicians is the same thing. They are lashed to the masts of their ideology, and they'll take the entire city down with them. And by the way, what you're listening to, I'm sure if you're in Chicago, a lot of this rings familiar. And if it doesn't now, it will soon, because we're starting to see more of
that coming here.
That retail environment, aren't we?
Well, look, this is the Jewels at 18th and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I just was trying to get some lotion, and you had to call an attendant. You eat shopping like that? It's a joke. Well, you don't have that time that you wait for each cabinet to be opened, each plexiglass, each lock to be unlocked. But they have chains over meat.
Subsistence level shoplifting.
Ugh.
That is untrue.
It's a police state. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of Chicago, back here, the deep thinkers on the city council hosted a committee hearing yesterday. Treatment, not trauma.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The health committee chair is Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez. She's a socialist and an anti-Italian bigot. If you didn't see her tweet from a couple weeks back where she talked about, greatest Italian-American achievements.
How to honor them. And one was Italian Ice Monument.
Yeah, to replace the Columbus statue,
And then somebody tweeted in beef juice, and she liked that tweet. Yeah, we talked about it when you were off, and we had Alderman Lopez call in because they were horrified by it.
Yeah, but whatever.
But if they said that,
whatever. Whatever.
They wanted to censure her.
Oh, blah blah blah. Censure. Who cares? Who
She's
cares?
showing her true colors.
Yeah, exactly. censure. I'm against this kind of ignorance. You're not really. Why? Because you're going to censure her? What
the Italian American
heritage, blah 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 blah. The same people that we're gonna we're getting that statue back. That statue's going back up. Come hell or high water. Where is it?
Nobody knows. It's in an undisclosed location.
All the heft.
And then Mayor Lightfoot gave it to him for what, a half hour or 20 minutes on Columbus Day
I'm
last
so
year?
sick of listening to people pretend that they're going to do anything about the ignorance and the ignorant in public office. They're not. There is no paradigm shift in the mentality here any more than there is in San Francisco, which you just heard. So if you want to lie to yourself, you want to delude yourself because Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez should be censured. Oh my God. Wow. Get serious. The response is nowhere near proportional to the offense. Categorically, legally, culturally. And so she just, carries on with this business. This is just as bad as that. What she said yesterday. In the name of Quintonio LeGrier, Betty Jones, Irene Chavez, Laquan McDonald, and so many others who did not receive the care they desperately needed. This committee is supposed to say, we're going to alleviate the police burden in dealing with mental health calls. Laquan McDonald was a mental health call? I'm not saying that Laquan McDonald should have been shot and killed, and a jury rendered the verdict on that. But was that a mental health call? No, it wasn't. And so it goes in San Francisco and Chicago.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number foreverremodeling.com.
America First with Sebastian Gorka. Today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer. WIND.
House Republicans have new people to question in their Biden probes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry.
That's what House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells Fox as GOP lawmakers prepare to question a key witness next week.
Investigators with the House Oversight Committee plan to speak soon with Devin Archer, a former business associate of Hunter Biden, about then Vice President Biden's involvement in business meetings. Testimony Committee Chairman Republican James Comer says reveals a corrupt influence peddling scheme.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Now, House Republicans will also get to question the U.S. attorney who led the Hunter Biden tax investigation. The Justice Department says David Weiss will testify perhaps in September after 2 IRS whistleblowers allege there was interference that hampered the probe benefiting the president's son, who will plead guilty tomorrow to 2 tax evasion misdemeanors.
The White House is still denying any wrongdoing by the president himself, with White House spokesman Ian Sams tweeting their eagerness to go after the president regardless of the truth is seemingly bottomless.
Fox's Brooke Sigmund. Today, the president will sign a proclamation to establish a national monument to honor Emmett Till, whose death in Mississippi in 1955 helped propel the civil rights movement. Till was accused of whistling at a white woman, then abducted and murdered. His white killers were acquitted. Texas is not backing down after the federal government sued the state, demanding Republican Governor Greg Abbott remove floating barriers along a stretch of the Rio Grande River. The lawsuit calls them unsafe and an overreach. The governor tells Fox he'll fight all the way to the Supreme Court
court.
All the Biden administration has to do is to enforce the laws already on the books that prevent people from crossing between the ports of entry.
North Korea test launched 2 more missiles today in the ongoing nuclear standoff with the U.S. There's still no update on the American soldier who fled to North Korea last week to avoid being sent back to the U.S. for military discipline after Travis King was jailed in South Korea for assault. America's listening to Fox News.
70 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We could see the hottest weather of the summer this week. Heat indices could reach or top 100 degrees as the steamy weather settles in, and air quality will also be impacted. An investigation is underway after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side near the Roseland community. Authorities say officers were conducting a vehicle stop last night. The vehicle reversed, hitting a squad car. Officers opened fire. The vehicle fled. The officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand. No one hurt after a 10-year-old boy fired a shot at Chicago police on the far south side in the 9800 block of South Charles. SWAT team members were called out yesterday on reports of that child experiencing a mental distress. He was eventually taken into custody. Chicago's mayor is hearing ideas from the city's youth about what the city should focus on in its new budget. The budget roundtable was framed as a way for young people to speak with Mayor Brandon Johnson and share ideas on the budget process.
With your expertise, we will build a budget based on collaboration to ensure that our budget truly represents the diversity of voices that live and work in the greatest freaking city in the world, and that's the city of Chicago.
The city will host one more budget roundtable later on this month. On Monday, Kane County's health department said West Nile virus had been detected in mosquitoes taken during the week of July 17 from a mosquito trap in Batavia. No human cases of West Nile have been reported in Illinois this year. The 2-year-old grandson of Milwaukee Bucks head coach Adrian Griffin died Saturday after the child's father found him unresponsive earlier in the day. Champaign County Coroner Dwayne Northrup says J.C. Griffin of Urbana was pronounced dead at the Carl Foundation Hospital. The coroner's office says preliminary reports from an autopsy conducted on Monday showed no evidence of trauma or foul play. Chicago sports, White Sox and Cubs at guaranteed rate. First pitch, 7:10. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Text the word app to 64636. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
There are millions upon millions of people of good character going to good states and low-rent Democrat scum going to Democrat states. After all, that's where they thrive. This is where this is acceptable. And it's being put as something that's normal. It's normal now to be an outright thief, scumbag traitor to your country.
The Sean Thompson Show, weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, commercial property, or even vacant land, let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. She's reliable, responsive, personable, and extremely thorough when helping you deal with an otherwise stressful transaction. Attorney Kim leads with her values and is committed to providing legal services with excellence. To contact Attorney Kim, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com. Whether it's drafting agreements, negotiating contract terms, or closing on a property, Attorney Susan J. Kim can do it all. Over 10 years of experience and her wealth of knowledge tackling complicated legal negotiations and breaking them down into a smooth, easy-to-understand process is what she does best. So let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. To schedule your legal consultation today, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com or call 847-906-3166. Susan J. Kim Attorney at Law is a state of Illinois licensed real estate attorney.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
It's hot and humid outside, but your basement or crawl space shouldn't feel that way. High humidity above 60% will activate mold spores, which results in unhealthy air throughout your home. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer of Permaseal. We have a solution for you. Our PermaDry air system will lower the humidity in your home to a safe level and keep it there no matter how hot it is. Call today, 800-421-SEAL. PermaDry is 3 times as powerful and efficient as the dehumidifiers at the big box stores. So don't spend the money and not solve the problem. PermaDry also filters out mold spores and allergens, making the air that you breathe upstairs healthier year-round. Contact Permaseal today for a free evaluation and receive a 20% discount on your PermaDry. Don't wait. This offer expires July 31st. Ask your consultant about financing options. That's 800-421-7325 or permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
6:08. Let's get an update on the roads. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, we're seeing delays building on the inbound side of the Edens. 19 now, Lake Cook Road into the junction. The Kennedy, 35, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange, while the Ike is at 32 from 390 into the old post office. Big delays on southbound 55 between the Veterans Parkway and Route 126, all due to construction. 2 left lanes are blocked, causing big delays this morning. At 6:08, it's time to visit signaturebank.bank. Time to get your updated forecast. We get the latest AM 560 Weather Center forecast from Steve Williams.
Some hazy sun today, the high 92. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, low 74. Severe morning thunderstorm for tomorrow. Partly sunny and humid, the high tomorrow at 90. And then partly sunny, hot Thursday, the high 94. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, Lake Michigan water temp 73. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We need some help.
Oh, boy.
Barack Obama released his much-awaited and anticipated playlist for 2023, his 2023 summer playlist. Have you had a chance to peruse it?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Text us anytime at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
What songs would you offer to the former president for inclusion on his playlist? I've got a few. On his playlist, for those who are interested.
Yes, but can I get pen and paper out, please? Write this down. And this is just the summer playlist.
This is an annual thing.
Okay.
You aren't setting your calendars by this. 2023 release of Barack Obama's summer playlist.
Okay.
It's not summer without the release of this list, as everyone knows.
Fine.
All right, a couple. You know, he's so.
He's it.
So he's such a deep intellect. You know, he's got so many rich tastes that the music spans the generations. Of course, "I'll Stand by You," The Pretenders, is on the list. Good song. "Walk Like an Egyptian," The Bangles. He's a big girl band buff.
If I was Sasha or Malia, I'd say, Dad, can you stop being so cringy right now?
Cruel
Dad?
Summer from Bananarama
Oh,
did not make the list.
Oh.
I'm sorry to report.
But Walk Like an Egyptian did? Okay.
Yeah, it gets him moving,
Walk
you know?
like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
Our band sang that, Hubie and the Janitors, at the Prospect Heights Summer Fest.
I remember that well.
Yeah, it was good. We
Hubie
killed
and the
it.
Hubie and the Janitor is not on the list. None of their offerings, sorry.
Darn it. Maybe next year.
Princess Diana by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj.
Ooh, I don't know how that one goes. Can you sing it for me, please?
No.
Thanks. Good talk.
Funky,
really good talk. Thanks.
Funky Kingston by Toots and the Maytals. Love Toots.
Toots.
Let's see. What else do we got on the list? Fast Car, Luke Combs.
Oh, no. He done it. Oh, no.
No,
Wah,
Tracy
wah.
Tracy
Oh,
Chapman gave him the go-ahead.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Old school, you know, Motown, because he's down with the struggle, as everyone knows.
Yeah. Grew up in Hawaii.
Nowhere to Run, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas.
I actually like that song.
It's a great song. It's a great song. What were you doing there?
I was trying to say
Yeah, the left key. That's what I heard. Janet Jackson on the list. Got Till It's Gone. I would have, if I was going to include Janet Jackson on my playlist, which I would have pulled something from Rhythm Nation. That was her best album. Like, for example, Rhythm Nation.
Oh, yeah. Rhythm Nation. I won't continue to sing that.
Please, because I don't know what song you were singing. I was talking about Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation. And as a sop to the Honkies, Soul Survivor, Rolling Stones. So what songs would you add to that offering from Barack Obama? The 2023 Barack Obama Summer Playlist. Some songs that you would like the former president to include in his playlist for larger consumption, because, of course, everybody waits for this to know what they're going to listen to when they're on the beach or the golf course or wherever.
Yeah, on that summer vacation, long drives, you can put in Obama's playlist. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, or you can text us if you're shy at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
I put together a few songs while you're thinking about this and what you'd like to offer up. Just sort of, you know, viscerally what my response was to this and where I thought, you know, you could round out this summer playlist and make for a better summer for everyone, which, of course, is the former president's desire, being the uniter that he is. Here's a little ditty that I thought would be nice in tribute to his gorgeous wife.
No, she's
stunning.
No, she's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You should see her in person.
I
And she's
have. I went to a
tall
Knicks game back when they were. You know. Here is my tribute to Michelle Obama. It'd be nice to, you know, as something for the wife.
That's so rude.
It's a great song. Run DMC, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
It's like the modern day Ebony and Ivory. No?
No.
You're not down with that?
No. I have a song.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, it's Try That in a Small Town, which I've been playing. No, but
I know.
This
right.
is the part of the
he's
song.
got Fast Car.
No, this is the part of the song that people should be talking about. I lived in rural Iowa, rural northern Minnesota, and I lived amongst farmers. And when a farmer gets sick, everybody helps out. If a farmer dies, everybody helps out. And this is a part of the song that people forgot.
These farmers are dropping their own crops for the day. A friend is in need, and they've come to help.
It's what this community and a lot of our communities stand for. Somebody needs some help, you'll get it.
I love that part.
You were criticizing me for Dude Looks Like a Lady. You just played an excerpt from a pro-lynching song. That's what I've been told. This is a pro-lynching song. Jason Aldean's tried that in a small town. Pro-lynching song. I love that. Can't
song,
include that on my list.
That's on my playlist.
That's violence.
And it's the summer of 2023 right now, so there you go.
Too painful.
Too soon for you.
How about this? Something a little bit more current. Trying to keep up with the former president's wide array of tastes. Something current from Kygo.
Baby, it hits so hard. I'm holding on to my chest. Maybe you left your mark, reminding me to forget. It doesn't matter where you are. You can keep my regret. Baby, I got these scars, reminding me to forget.
That's a cool song. Actually, the video's even cooler. But
Who
reminding
sings that? I'm going to put it on my playlist.
Kygo.
Kygo. How do you spell that?
Kygo.
Thank you.
Reminding me to forget the Obama years.
Oh.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Oh, I did. I think I made a mistake on Aerosmith, but I'll let Marty from Naperville correct me. Marty, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, get your Aerosmith.
I know. It's Walk This Way. I know.
Will you please?
It's Walk This Way.
Don't do medleys if you can't understand. This is you're confusing us out here.
Sorry about that. That's my bad.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Dude Looks Like a Lady was Aerosmith by itself. Well, Walk This Way was Run DMC.
Run DMC.
You could do you could do Walk This Way on his playlist too. You know.
Yeah.
He's such a cool cat.
Yeah.
John in Crown Point.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Love your show.
Oh, boy.
Love Amy more, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Songs for holding people prisoner in your van from John in Crown Point.
Hey, I think a good song for his playlist would be that Scorpion song. He's a woman, she's a man. Have you ever heard that one?
Not offhand. I probably have, but thanks for the call, John. Bill in Cape Coral, Florida.
Yeah, since we're talking about Obama song, this is his song, sung to the tune by Dean Martin, Volare. Obama, no, no Obama, no.
Oh, it's not bad. Lounge Lizard,
Obama,
Bill from Cape Coral. Oh, I'm sorry to
You're
interrupt.
interrupted,
I'm sorry.
Dan.
I thought that was it. All right, go ahead, Bill. Sorry, give us the full chorus there,
Okay.
Bill.
He's a liar, conniver, a real bulljiver. Some say he's even on the down low. He's a hater, a race baiter. He spends without the flager. A con man that hides behind the clock. Whoa, Obama.
This is good.
No, his fantasy they tried to sell. Put that Vago up in a cell.
Oh.
He's a hater, a smoker, a toker. He missed it being a doper. You might just take a bite out of your dog. I'm a little early in the morning for me, but it goes on. But that's his song.
That was really good.
Not bad. Thanks for the call, Bill.
Appreciate that, Bill.
Some
good stuff.
Also maybe a bit of a tribute song.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is too soon. Gosh, I hope not.
Oh no, what are you doing now?
Um,
You're gonna get me in trouble.
His personal chef
Oh.
drowned off of Martha's Vineyard.
Other things have happened on Martha's Vineyard to other politicians.
Well.
She's a breaking, I'm drowning slowly.
Is that too soon?
Yeah. When did the chef die behind his house? When was that?
A couple days ago.
Oh.
He disappeared and then he turned up.
And a paddleboard?
Paddleboarding. That's the story.
Is there rough waters back there? I mean, choppy waters? Because you wouldn't go out on a paddleboard unless.
I wouldn't think so.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was just a tragic accident.
I'm sure. I hope Hillary has an alibi. George in Naperville.
You said it, but in honor of Kamala Harris. Ebony and ivory. That's all I got.
All right, thanks for the call, George. Jim in Crown Point.
When in honor of his childhood, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
That's pretty good.
The Eagles' Lying Eyes.
Thanks for the call, Jim. Yeah, I was going that way too. I went with this offering on that angle.
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. But that's alright because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. But that's alright because I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
Yeah, pretty good. Topical, I think.
Did that song with Eminem.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you. See, I do know something.
You're so up to date.
So hip.
Here's another one.
I'm dripping with
just trying to spark some ideas. I'm not saying this list is exhaustive,
Mhm.
but remember how President Obama said in asking what the definition of sin is? He said, "Sin is anything that runs afoul of my values."
Oh.
So I immediately thought, he's his own
He's the
personal
second
Jesus.
coming, right?
Yeah. All right. Dave and Racine.
Yes, how about Go to Hell by Alice Cooper with a poignant line in there is, "You're something that never should have happened. You even make your grandma sick." And, of course, Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al Yankovic.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Good offerings. Another one for the missus, I was thinking.
She's so beautiful.
I mean,
no, she's hot. She's hot.
Drop dead gorgeous. I mean, Rubenesque in a
Saw her
Titian kind
I was
of
in
way.
the locker room at East Bank Club with her and Valerie Jarrett. Michelle Obama.
Did you
looking
did you peek in the locker room?
No, I didn't peek.
People want to know.
No, I didn't. No.
All right. Well, this.
You think I'm some pervert.
I'm just saying.
And I had on a trench coat.
No,
I was
you
in the shower.
Well, I don't know if you ladies walk around the I'm
I don't
I'm
do
not
that.
identifying. Walk around, like
Naked?
some of these old dudes do, just letting it all hang out there.
They did take the shower doors down in the men's bathroom at East Bank Club. Of
course
back
they
in
did.
the 80s.
You were in the women's bathroom,
I was in
locker
the
room
women's
when it
locker
was
room.
with Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
The women's locker.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just checking. I just want to make sure I had
She
the
was
story.
very nice to me. She apologized that she didn't recognize me at first.
Oh, it's nice. It's a nice moment. Oh, well, this would be a nice moment.
That's funny.
A
I think it's
tribute,
funny.
again, this like a dedication to the missus. This ballad from Sam Smith. He's all the rage right now.
Yes, yeah.
It is him I love. It is him I
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever heard this song before.
What's that?
I've never heard that song before.
Sure. Got
Nice though.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
You're adding songs to my
tribute,
playlist right now. so
like just something that Obama could sing to Michelle.
If they find a new chef soon. Do you think they're interviewing for positions?
Perry and Niles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. I do have a song idea, but before, can I just mention, you know who else was hot, Amy?
Who?
Remember when Abe Vigoda had to dress up like a woman on Barney Miller to catch muggers in Central Park?
Totally.
That's a great episode.
You couldn't tell that it was Abe Vigoda. So gorgeous.
No,
Between him and
Had him all
Tootsie, I don't
dolled
know
up.
who was good, better
Yeah,
looking.
yeah.
Maybe
I
Tootsie
don't know
was
the name.
Ravishing.
The song, I don't
She's
know the name of the
ravishing,
song.
Perry. Yeah.
You'll know the name of the song or who did it. It's about cutting down trees and putting up a parking lot.
They pave. They
Pave Paradise,
and
put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy Grant.
In
did a
honor of
cover
the Obama land in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, Obama landed. Yeah, Obama. Yeah, that's right.
Oh
yeah.
my God. I drove
That's
by
pretty
that
good.
thing. That thing is a monstrosity. There's no windows in it. And that whole area is just
I like that. Paved Paradise
carved
to
up.
put up a
Yeah, they
parking
paved
lot
Paradise
yeah,
to
that's
put up this like a
that's-
mausoleum.
That's somebody who's thinking. How about this from the Fray, just a general
All right.
tribute song to the Obama years? Two on the nose. Two on the nose. I thought that was good. No? All right. Trying over here.
You guys these text messages are so mean. Amy, is she circumcised? Come on.
I wonder if the chef that was found drowned, I wonder if he was in the changing room with, maybe he saw.
Oh, my, you guys stop.
Had to be. I don't know. I don't know.
You're So Vain by Carly Simon.
That's not bad. Not bad. That's definitely.
Time to Say Goodbye, Bocelli.
Yeah. Okay. I wish it was his time to say goodbye. I mean, from the public scene.
This is the best text message.
All right.
Hunter Biden's playlist features "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy.
Not bad.
Steve on 88.
That's
pretty
good one. That is a good one.
Found a bag of coke in the West Wing. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Larry,
Wasn't me.
Larry in Elmhurst.
Hey, good morning. I got one. I could just play a few bars of it here on the computer. It's
please.
Called The Village. It's for Michelle Obama
Okay.
by Rabel.
Okay. Are you going to play it, or are you just going to play it for yourself?
Yeah, I'm right now.
Okay.
No, your mom don't get it, and your dad don't get it, Uncle John don't get it. And you can't tell Grandma 'cause her heart can't take it, and she might not make it. They say don't dare, don't you even go there, cutting off your long hair, you do as you're told. Tell you
Kind of get it on.
Wow, you are really talented,
A lot of
Larry.
aspiring musicians
Thank
here.
you.
Very good,
You
Larry.
have a beautiful voice,
Thanks
too.
for the call. Beautiful. That's good. Larry in Elmhurst. I got another one.
Okay.
How about this one? Maybe again, two on the nose, but that's
that
more.
could be a metaphor for like the city of Chicago. I'll get over you eventually because it's a sinking ship.
Yeah, that's more a tribute to Obama voters.
Yeah.
Than it is to Obama even himself. Kip in Stillman Valley.
Yeah, hey, you can go with two of Alice Cooper's for Michelle. Welcome to My Nightmare, and then The Black Widow. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Kip. Do I have any more? How about this? This would be a tribute to non-Obama voters.
Okay.
The great Eddie Money. I miss him.
Having regrets, go back.
Yeah, no going back. The nostalgia.
That's great.
But the great thing is we don't need to reflect back on President Obama because he's still very much with us every summer when he releases his 2023 playlist. We'll be sending all your suggestions as well as mine and Amy's to Valerie Jarrett. So know that they're in good hands. We'll see if we make the list. Thank you for your contributions.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll turn our attention to the financial markets with Jim Urio, host of the Futures Edge podcast, Fox Business Regular, 636.
And cooling centers in Chicago are opening up, but there is a caveat. We'll explain. But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Joni Mitchell did Big Yellow Taxi first.
Oh,
the song you reference, paving over the parking lots. Then Amy Grant did it, and several other people. And by the way, has anyone ever seen, this is an old joke, has anyone ever seen Abe Vigoda and B. Arthur together?
Right.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what I was, I mean, I would say the same thing about Michelle Obama and Patrick Ewing.
Oh, we used.
71 degrees, 6:31 is our time. Chicago could see the hottest weather of the summer this week. Amy just referenced it. Heat indices could exceed the 100-degree mark as steamy weather settles in. Air quality could also be impacted as well. The White House says President Biden was never in business with his son, Hunter.
The president was never in business with his son.
That's what Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was holding to with reporters on Monday. Now, House Republicans could bring impeachment charges against President Joe Biden over an allegation recorded in an FBI document accusing the president of accepting a bribe while serving as vice president. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
This is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed.
The allegation is that then Vice President Biden accepted that $5 million as a bribe for pressuring Ukraine to remove a prosecutor who was investigating a gas company, Burisma. An Alabama woman who claims she was kidnapped after seeing a baby on the highway is admitting it was all a hoax. 2 weeks ago, Carly Russell disappeared for 2 days after a phone call led police to believe she was abducted. Russell's attorney yesterday announced she didn't see a baby and she wasn't kidnapped by anyone. An investigation is underway after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side. Authorities say officers were conducting a vehicle stop last night near 56th and South Shields. The vehicle reversed, hitting a squad car. Officers opened fire, and the vehicle fled. One officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand and is hospitalized in good condition. Northwestern University is facing another lawsuit over its hazing scandal in its athletic department. Former NU quarterback Lloyd Yates filed suit yesterday. He's being represented by attorney Ben Crump. Meantime, Derek Gragg's job as Northwestern athletic director is not in jeopardy for now. University President Michael Schill says he will not fire Gragg for now after multiple controversies and coach terminations this month. White Sox take on the Cubs at guaranteed rate. First pitch for Kyle Hendricks and Michael Kopech, 7:10. The news service of MyPillow. MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price $69.98, now $19.98 with promo code LIBERTY. MyPillow.com, promo code LIBERTY. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains extreme arrogance.
This is very important. This is the arrogance of the left in a nutshell. We will come up with a new idea for what a policeman should do. And our idea will be better.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
When this is the sound of a waterfall in nature, there's no cause for concern. But when it's the sound of water gushing through your living room ceiling because a pipe bursts inside the wall, there's reason to panic unless you pick up the phone and call 1-800-SERVPRO. Only the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro can help make fire and water damage like it never even happened. So make the call to 1-800-SERVPRO at the first sign of water damage. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Test Director Rick from ServPro, the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. It's my job to make sure our pros are prepared for anything. Storm damage? Fixed. Flood damage? We're on it. Fire damage? Not anymore. Aliens? What? Aliens? We cleaned those sites a while ago. No matter the disaster, our pros will make it like it never even happened. Find out why ServPro is the #1 choice for residential and commercial restoration projects large and small. Visit servpro.com today.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
This balance of nature has really helped me. It has kept me peppy as far as energetic. I honestly know that I have to give it credit. So I know that greatest thing that I take is that balance of nature. No matter what I have to endure, I am not giving balance of nature up.
it gives us more energy, and we have a rescue farm to take care of. And there isn't anything else that we've changed that would give us the energy, and we just love it. We just swear by it. Both Chuck and I have had the same experience, and I said, Chuck, it has to be balance of nature.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Did your parents ever say nothing good happens after midnight? Well, that's true when the Democrats are passing budgets. At 2:30 a.m. on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, Illinois Democrats passed the largest general revenue budget in the state's history. They funded free housing, health care, education, food stamps, legal services, and more for people living here illegally. The Democrat leaders said that the budget reflected their priorities. They also funded legislator pay raises. Now your legislator will make $89,675 for a part-time job. That's a 32% increase in just 4 years. Among the items not funded were immediate replacement of lead water pipes in low-income neighborhoods, despite lead being a well-known health risk, and scholarships for kids in failing schools. Putting the people in office who forward good policy begins by being informed. Subscribe to our newsletter and listen to our podcasts at breakthrough-ideas.com. That's breakthrough-ideas.com.
6:37 update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Lowe's. Right now, save on major appliances and get an additional 10% off in-store clearance appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/9. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Inbound on the Edens, 21 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction. It's about an hour. Kennedy inbound, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. 45 on the inbound Ike from 390 into the old post office. Stop and go traffic due to construction cleanup southbound 55 between Veterans Parkway and Route 126. Tri-State jamming up northbound right at the Reagan merge. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Hazy sun in your forecast. Heat and humidity pile on this afternoon with a high of 92. 70 right now. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Money, Money, Money could have been a good song for the Obama summer playlist, too. That's what they got from Netflix, and speechifying for the foundation from the public. Free land, that's the equivalent. All right. By the way, there was a
couple other late entries. The Crying Game.
Crying Game is a good call. That's
And
Amish texture.
Be Like Mike.
Mm-hmm. I also liked text from 815, Baby Got Back. From Mix-a-Lot Classic. Uh-huh.
We Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. That's a good one.
It's not bad. I'll see if Jimmy Urio has any any songs he'd like to add to our suggested additions to Obama's 2023 summer playlist when he joins us. Though, if we can get to more serious matters, stop with your frivolity.
You're the one who brought it up.
That's true. These two futurists, Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, and did you see they're experimenting with AI and brain cells in Australia?
Oh, God.
We're going to be robots before you know it. It's going to be great.
I know.
This guy, so Sam Altman and this other guy, the CEO of WorldCoin, Alex Blania, the feature story is about this story that features them is about this WorldCoin ecosystem involving a global crypto economy. Frankly, like you've heard, we've talked about the government digital currencies and what these proponents of government digital currencies are, government-backed digital currencies, like the Fed dollar, the Fed Bitcoin, if you will. What they're saying, it'd be great. We'll be able to track purchases. We'll be able to green light or red light purchases. If you want to buy something terrible like a gun, nope. If you want to buy an Impossible Burger, sure. To do this, these guys create this global crypto economy. They invented a physical device called the orb that can scan your eyeball. The goal is for the orb to scan every eyeball of every human on the planet. And then if that goes well, everyone will have access to open source and decentralized financial tools. And we're supposed to trust the people that have all of this data, right? The story goes on. The project has real intellectual heft, co-founded by Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. Altman suspects the world will change forever if or when AI becomes so advanced that it achieves AGI. Since Kamala Harris isn't here to explain that to us, let me do my best Kamala Harris impersonation.
Okay. All right.
AI is 2 letters.
It is.
Are you with me so far?
I got that so far.
It stands for artificial intelligence.
Oh, phew.
AGI is 3 letters, and that stands for artificial general intelligence, meaning it surpasses the abilities of humans. AI, of course, would surpass the ability of Kamala Harris and most of the political ruling class. Blania, the guy who's the CEO of WorldCoin, said in response to the question about privacy concerns over a worldwide database of everyone's eyeball scans, my high-level response is that something like World ID will eventually exist, meaning you will need to verify that you are human on the internet, whether you like it or not. I think that's certainly going to happen with the progress in AI. It's probably going to happen in the next couple of years. World ID, global database of eyeball scans. But these AI futurists tell us there's nothing to worry about, so of course that's good enough for me. Jim Urio is the host of the Future's Edge podcast. He's a frequent commentator on Fox Business as well. Jim, thanks for joining us, and the proprietor of Brandt's Restaurant in Palatine.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I want to do a live remote from Brandt's. We're gonna make that happen.
Jim doesn't get up that early.
Jim, come on, help a sister out.
Yeah.
I can once. I can get up that early.
All right. Right.
We'd fill up the place.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, do you have any songs you want to add? Suggested songs you want to add to the Obama 2023 summer playlist?
I don't. I need more time to think about it. I'm not a creative guy, just
all right.
so you know. Let's move on to the other topic.
Okay. So what about since AI is driving the market returns right now? What about the Brave New World, where the orb contains eyeball scans of every human on the planet, and we all get world IDs?
So I don't know if you saw, RFK gave a speech within the last couple of days, and I'm not jumping on the RFK bandwagon. It's going to be a cold day before I ever cast a vote for Kennedy, I think. But he gave a speech, which I thought was very interesting. He talked about governments throughout history. There is an element that wants complete control. I think it's just a normal psychological thing for these people. Technology now allows for that to happen. You mentioned the orb, and you mentioned digital currency, and I think there's a solid chance that we are too late on this. On my podcast, we just had a guy on 2 weeks ago who wrote a book called There Will Be Money, and it's a big advocacy for universal basic income. And for those listening don't know, that's just a stipend that everybody gets from the government. The reason we're probably heading in that direction is because it is a perfect gateway to introduce central bank digital currency. Because you don't take it, if you don't get play with the central bank digital currency, you don't get your $10,000 a year or whatever it is. That's how they probably open the door to that. And once they do that, it's literally we give up all our personal liberties. Just look at what happened in Canada, a country that 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago we thought was a sane and normal country. As soon as the trucker strike happened and people started donating to their cause, over 200 bank accounts were shut down instantly and let shut down. And I spoke to a friend of mine who slanted to the left, and he's like, well, they opened it back up again, and the people got their money back. I don't care. If they shut my bank account down for a half hour, that is them sending me a message that any bad behavior will be treated harshly. So these things, this is one of the biggest things that we've faced is the central bank digital currency. AI is part of it. The orb to scan your eyeballs is all part of it. The AI thing, as far as from an investing thesis, by the way, these 7. I'm sorry that I'm ranting, but there's a lot to talk about in this one. These 7 companies that are into AI that have been the Magnificent 7 over this year. How many times can we rally those stocks on the same exact story? Yes, they're investing in AI. I read the stuff that AI writes, and I think it was written by a really smart 6th grader who doesn't want to step outside the line and say anything that's the slightest bit controversial.
I think you may be reading the New York Times and you're thinking you're reading AI.
That could easily be. But I can't think that AI is going to replicate the sarcasm of a Dan Proft and an Amy Jacobson, and to a much lesser extent of a Jim Uro. So I think we're all in the clear with what we do on AI, and I don't think it's a big threat right now.
Well, just on the market returns. I mean, so everybody, well, not everybody, because some people are obviously in, and they're enjoying the 35% return on the NASDAQ this year, 19 on S&P. I mean, this just keeps going. It doesn't matter what the Fed does. It doesn't matter what manufacturing indexes tell us. It doesn't matter what earnings reports say. Nothing matters, just AI.
Well, something else that matters quite a bit. So go back to like the beginning of the nonsense 3.5 years ago when they started increasing M2 money supply. And just based on the trend that had existed, say they pushed like $5 trillion extra dollars into the economy to keep demand up so we wouldn't go into a terrible, terrible recession 3.5 years ago. Now they've tried to pull that money out, and they've pulled out about half of it. I'm talking about the excess money above trend. So by my calculations, there still exists about $2.5 trillion extra dollars in the economy. It shows up somewhere, and it shows up in stock prices. But then people like us, like the talking heads, try to explain it away, like what the fundamental reason is for the stock market to be rallying. And there might not be a fundamental one, but if there is, you could say, 1, we thought that there was going to be a bad recession, and so far it hasn't happened. I still think it's going to be. And 2, we think that if the recession starts, the Fed is going to immediately pivot and start batting loose back into the system. So there is kind of a fundamental argument, but I think it's just to make up for the fact that there's a lot of loose money sloshing around, and that's where it shows up in risk assets.
So are the Feds going to, after a pause in June, are they going to raise the interest rates?
Yes. Tomorrow they're absolutely going to raise the interest rates. The market, the Fed funds futures markets, because of the way they trade, they make like a market prediction, and the prediction now is 99% that they hike 25 basis points tomorrow. Now, if the 3 of us were the Fed and we believed we were autonomous, and then all of a sudden the day of the meeting comes and we're like, oh, crap, the market thinks there's a 99% chance that we're going to hike 25 basis points, we kind of almost have to, or else we're going to disrupt things and push markets into wild swings. So I think in some ways the market has influence over what the Fed does. And so they're going to does that make any sense, by the way?
Yeah, so right, it does. Perfect sense. And so 25 basis point hike tomorrow, no rate cuts until the end of the year, maybe another 25 basis point hike in August, or take a pause and then come back in September.
No, I think that
this is it.
Between now and the next meeting, I think this is it. I think things are changing from an economic standpoint, like even things that make it seem like we're not going into recession, like the strong labor numbers. If you dig under those numbers, they're not that great. Like the jobs added numbers last time, I think it was like 250,000 or whatever it was. Some of those are just based on an estimate called the birth-death model, which is full-on stupid if you look at it, by the way, and I don't want to go into it. But secondly, it actually counts jobs that people have instead of counting people that are employed. So it's counting like second and third jobs that people are getting to make up for the losses of inflation. People are not stupid. If they know they can't afford this same lifestyle that they have, they're going to try as best they can to replicate it. And people are going out and getting second and third jobs.
And so what's your updated prognosis for the rest of 2023?
So I'm not necessarily bearish on the stock market because I do think we're going into a recession. I think in the next 6 months there will be a recession, but paradoxically that doesn't have to be bad for stocks because the Fed can then turn around and push money into the system. I do worry that there's something, this might be getting too in the weeds, but there's something called the volatility index, which measures like the volatility of options. But what it's telling us in the most simple fashion is that people aren't pricing risk properly. The market doesn't feel like we could have this big market plunge, a quick market plunge, which I think the more people think that that's impossible, the more likely it becomes. But the good news is these options are cheap to hedge portfolios. And if people don't understand that, I was going to say call me, but I'll give them someone else's number to call and they'll explain option volatility to them.
What something else I wanted to get your take on in terms of the labor market. The labor market is starting to tighten up for one particular position in corporate America. Your DI officer, your chief diversity officer, diversity, inclusion, equity officers. Businesses caught in a diversity trap, writes the Wall Street Journal, where they're getting competing letters after the decision in the Harvard admissions case, competing letters from Republican state attorneys general saying your DI programs may be and hiring practices may be illegal. And then they're getting letters from Dem AG saying that those policies are above board. Not only are they above board, you should expand them, of course. Andy Kessler writes about DI and ESG in the Journal. He writes this, today DI and ESG, or DEI, and ESG grievance industries are blown in the wind. 3 steps to redemption: forget merit and striving for the highest level, push equity over excellence, feel virtuous. There are uproars because we don't have enough female crash test dummies or paper straws, trigger warnings, unisex bathrooms, wind farms, disarmed police, censored songs, or sidewalk tents for the unhoused. These are vacuous 21st century versions of protest songs. Feels good, does nothing. DI and ESG, I don't see this going away. I see BlackRock trying to do privately now what it was doing publicly, BlackRock and Vanguard and these other big leftist dominated corps. They're going to be less public about it, tamp down the virtue signaling because there's blowback, but they're going to stay the course. They almost have no choice because they're captured by their employees in so many instances in the Fortune 500, and because the folks at the top of organizations like BlackRock, the Larry Finks of the world, seem pretty intent on this path.
So the only thing I disagree with is I don't believe there's that much motivation to go private with it. They told us exactly, even when he said he's going to change the labeling of ESG, he was very clear that we're not changing the ESG thing. So there's 2 things I want to say about it too. So the ESG nonsense, like just to put in perspective how ridiculous it is, Tesla was obviously a big, an ESG company. They make electric cars. I thought the left loved the electric cars, right? No, not so much when Elon Musk bought Twitter and all of a sudden perhaps he was an advocate of speech that was against the machine. Now all of a sudden Tesla gets taken off the ESG thing. Companies like Exxon are on the ESG thing, but that's another thing. Now the part about the DEI thing, here was the most chilling moment of the last, call it 6 months to me. The moment I realized that Bud Light and Target, when they went on those different ad campaigns and down that road, they didn't care one bit about the fact that the shareholders and their customer base wouldn't like it. All they were trying to do was curry favor with the government to be on the good list and not get on the naughty list. So this is just another facet of corporatism where the government is so involved with corporations and the business sector that you have to do the right thing or else get the whip. We are going down that road, and it is absolutely terrifying.
Jim Urios, host of the Future's Edge podcast, regular on Fox Business, and a proprietor of Brant's restaurant in Palatine. Good ribs at Brant's. Good burgers, too. Jim Urios, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Bye. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking to establish or enhance your credit to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg for a fresh start secured credit card. 26 million Americans are invisible because they have no credit, and 21 million Americans are unscorable because their credit has zero impact on their scores. 47 million Americans can't secure a mortgage because of credit. But I have amazing news. Team Hochberg's Fresh Start Secured Credit Card will help credit invisible, unscorable, and credit challenged listeners establish and enhance their credit. Team Hochberg's partnered with Kane County Teachers Credit Union to issue a Team Hochberg Fresh Start Secured Credit Card to help establish and enhance listeners' credit. We've helped thousands of radio listeners establish, revitalize, and enhance their credit, but we can't help if you don't visit 56david.com/fresh start. That's 56david.com/fresh start. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 112461.
You can shed that fat, be slimmer for the summer. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You'll lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose the weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off, but they're not part of the orb, so don't worry about that. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. And you even get Dr. T's personal email and phone number. Dr. T, Dr. Turovitz, is the founder of NJ Diet. NJ Diet has locations close by in Skokie and Oak Brook, or is available from home with live online video consultations. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Building owners, property managers, and chief engineers. This one's for you.
Hello, this is Bruce Diedrich with Waukegan Roofing, your professional roofer. Everything starts on top. Your investment, your building, and everything in it is protected by your roof. It needs to be in good shape. That's where we can help. If it needs to be repaired or replaced, or you think it might, call us. Let's find out. Here's the number.
847-623-1625.
At Waukegan Roofing, our employees are union-trained roofing professionals with OSHA safety training certifications and have thorough knowledge and expertise regarding the various roofing systems we sell, maintain, and install. We know commercial roofing systems because that's all we do. Over 110 years of doing commercial roofs. Waukegan Roofing has the slogan,
Roofs you can rely on.
Because you can. Here's the number to call.
847-623-1625.
And get the info at waukeganroofing.com. waukeganroofing.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is, I don't know because I don't go, but is something happening at grocery stores besides what we talked about with the shoplifting? Something else happening at grocery stores that's indicative of civilizational decline?
Or the end of days? Yeah.
Well, that's a little dramatic, but okay. Well, since I don't know, we'll defer to your expertise, Amy, and take some calls. I'll set the table at 7:07.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. So good to see you, Mike.
Good to be back and with you this morning. We'll start with a CPD officer shot on the south side and new details on that developing story. A man is in custody after fake U.S. savings bonds were seized in a Rosemont traffic stop. Crosstown baseball, Sox and Cubs, WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
A new standoff at the border. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Between the federal government and Texas, Republican Governor Greg Abbott vows to Fox,
"We will take this lawsuit all the way to the United States Supreme Court."
Fox's Jared Halpern details the dispute.
Large buoys placed in the Rio Grande and razor wire fencing is both dangerous and illegal, the Biden administration says, filing a lawsuit to block the measures.
He continues to do this really cruel unjust, inhumane ways of moving forward.
That's White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. House Republicans keep ratcheting up their Biden probes, with Speaker Kevin McCarthy suggesting on Fox it's getting close to impeachment level.
When President Biden was running for office, he told the American public that he's never talked about business. He said his family has never received $1 from China, which we now proved is not true.
The White House denies all that, saying Republican eagerness to go after President Biden, regardless of the truth, is bottomless. Now, next week, House Republicans will get to question Devin Archer, a former business associate of the president's son, Hunter. Later this year, House Republicans will get to question David Weiss, the U.S. attorney overseeing the Hunter Biden tax investigation. The Justice Department agreeing to let him testify at a public hearing.
2 IRS whistleblowers last week testified that Weiss, despite his claim to have full authority over the probe, was sidelined by more senior officials seeking to protect Hunter Biden's father.
That's Fox's Jillian Turner. Tomorrow, Hunter Biden will plead guilty to 2 tax evasion misdemeanors. Former President Obama is mourning his personal chef, saying he's lost a beloved member of his family near Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts.
Police say 45-year-old Tafari Campbell was paddleboarding Sunday night when he went underwater and never resurfaced. Emergency crews did not find his body until yesterday, about 100 yards from shore.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Wildfires keep burning in a heat wave overseas, leading to mass evacuations in Greece and Algeria, where 25 people were killed, 10 of them Algerian soldiers fighting the flames. America's listening to Fox News.
"70 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago could see the hottest weather of the summer this week. We could be topping the 100-degree mark with the heat index. Later on this week, city's 6 cooling centers are activated. Air quality will also be impacted. An investigation is underway after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side. Officers were conducting a vehicle stop last night near 56th and Shields when the officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand. He remains hospitalized in good condition. No one is hurt after a 10-year-old boy fired shots at Chicago police during a standoff on the far south side. SWAT teams were called out yesterday on report of a child experiencing mental distress in the 9800 block of South Charles. Chicago's mayor is hearing ideas from the city's youth about what the city should focus on when crafting its budget.
With your expertise, we will build a budget based on collaboration to ensure that our budget truly represents the diversity of voices that live and work in the greatest freaking city in the world, and that's the city of Chicago.
The city will host one more budget roundtable later in August. Bond set at $100,000 for a Central Illinois woman charged with leading police on a high-speed chase following a burglary in Oak Brook last week. Chris Chana Smith of Peoria faces 1 count of aggravated fleeing and eluding. Father and son are charged with felony burglary and attempted theft for trying to steal an ATM in LaPorte County. 41-year-old Blake Tweedy and 23-year-old Brandon Tweedy are suspects in similar crimes across northwest Indiana. Crosstown Series heads to the south side as the White Sox take on the Cubs at guaranteed rate 7:10. First pitch. The news service of the AM 560 Advantage. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees support waning.
It's Maureen Dowd in the New York Times. Do you recognize the significance of Maureen Dowd from the New York Times turning against Joe Biden? Wow! You understand, these aren't conservative publications turning on him. The liberal media is turning on Biden. He ain't going to be the nominee.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Many novice gold and silver buyers make fatal mistakes when buying precious metals for the first time. Mistakes made because of dealer gimmicks and scams. Dennis Prager here for Amfed Coin and Bullion. My choice, and it really is, for buying precious metals. Numerous precious metal dealers are capitalizing on the demand for gold by selling inexperienced investors collectible coins with outrageous markups. One company charges as much as $18,000 for collectible coins that are only worth about $5,500 in the open market. It's an example of the honesty of AmFed. Other dealers tell falsehoods about government gold confiscation or regulation of gold prices at AmFed Coin and Bullion to keep things simple and transparent so you'll understand what you own and its true value. If you're thinking of buying or have already purchased and want a second opinion, call Nick Grovich, the man I trust, and his team at AmFed Coin and Bullion, 800-221-7694. Receive a complimentary coin performance review, AmericanFederal.com, AmericanFederal.com.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Did you know most vitamin supplements have a warning label on the back? That's because without the synergy of thousands of nutrients working together that are found naturally in whole fruits and vegetables, vitamins are not balanced. This is why Balance of Nature only uses whole fruits and vegetables, no isolates or synthetic vitamins of any kind. We take a variety of 31 of the highest quality fruits and vegetables and remove the water without changing the rich chemistry. It's then ground to a powder, blended to perfection, and encapsulated, preserving the nutrients and making it easy to get the fruits and vegetables you need. So even though Balance of Nature comes in a capsule and looks like a vitamin, it's very different. Go to balanceofnature.com and for a limited time this summer, get a free fruit and veggies travel set plus $25 off your first order as a preferred customer when you use discount code CHICAGO.
7:08, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Inbound Edens at about 32 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. It's 1 hour on the inbound Kennedy from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Watch out later tonight. Inbound Kennedy will begin some major lane shifting for the next 3 nights from 9 to 5 a.m. Tonight's lane shift is between Diversey to Webster. Traveling on the inbound side of the Ike right now, 55 from 390 to the old post office, with an accident bottling up a right-hand lane between Mannheim and First Avenue. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A bit of sun. It'll be hazy today, high 92. Partly cloudy, warm, humid tonight, low 74. A severe morning thunderstorm tomorrow. Partly sunny, breezy, and the high 90. Hotter on Thursday, partly sunny with a high 94. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare, 67 in Naperville. And your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Something going on in America's grocery stores that speaks to civilizational decline, question mark. I ask because of this tweet that's gotten a lot of traction from William Wolf, who is a former official in the Trump administration. Doesn't matter. It's not talking about politics. He writes, I've been grocery shopping almost my entire life. My mom's in a wheelchair, so as young as 10 years old, I was taking a list and her debit card into the store and shopping. Let me tell you, I've never seen stores in such bad shape as they are now. No one's staffing the main checkout lines. Massive line for the self-checkouts. Stores are messy. Items are unstocked. If you do grocery shopping regularly, you know it's like watching a country in decline in real time. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is
yeah,
you
we
right?
want to hear about your shopping nightmares.
Well, when you're going to buy your industrial size containers of goldfish, what do you see?
Well, it's a big difference between the city and the suburbs. If you're in the city, it depends on the week. Like, you cannot find mango bubble water. The bubbly, you probably don't even know what
Yeah,
it's
I like bubbly.
Yeah, but you can't find it.
You know what I like?
What do you like?
Why don't you pick up some next time you go to the grocery store?
Please.
For the, all of us, for the team.
Yeah, what does the team want?
Topo Chico.
Oh.
I love the Topo Chico water, and now they've got seltzers too.
Okay.
I like it
All right.
better than High Noon. I'm a little bit of a girl drink drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hanging out with Sapelsa?
Yeah.
So, you
Not
doing
wine.
spritzers, huh?
But the seltzers, not spritzers, not spritzers. I haven't gone that far. I'm not playing for the other team.
Okay, you let us know when you transition to that drink.
Just seltzers.
All
Just
right.
seltzers.
But then, we had the whole egg shortage. And then I walked into the downtown Jewels and there was no milk. So it's just
Is it
just
Jewel or
different.
Jewels, by the way?
I call it the Jewels.
Yeah, that's a Chicago thing.
Yeah, it's
you're doing like your Dennis Franz impersonation.
I was like, I'm going to the Jewels. These Dems and Does. We're going down to the Jewels.
Right. I got it. I see what you're doing.
But it's so weird because cereal at the Jewels on Southport, $7.99.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
I know,
prices.
but if
We're
it's
talking
even
about
there, like certain brands are just not there, and then the store smells. It smells so bad.
Smells of what?
Of
death.
It smells like homelessness, like somebody urinated and nobody picked it up.
Because they probably did.
They probably did. Yeah. Self-checkout line wrapped around. I just don't even bother. It's so gross there. Produce is old and rotting. There's not a lot of. And I love. But then you go to the Jewels in Elk Grove and it's better. But there's certain days where you can't. Like sometimes I have to go to the Jewels and then Mariano's in the same day just to find things that people want. Before COVID, it was never that way. It was one-stop shopping. And now you have to go to multiple stores.
Okay, but
So I don't know. Is his complaint more about the workers not being there?
It's just the
items.
It's
or
it's the environment. He's talking about the environment. He's not blaming grocery stores for egg prices or supply chain issues with particular products, if those still exist for particular products. I wouldn't know. I guess the only way I know is if restaurants were indicating they were having supply problems, but I wouldn't even know that because I go to restaurants that don't have supply problems.
Oh, you're one of those. But I'd love to hear from other shoppers. I don't
like
know.
Portillo's. If Portillo's ran out of beef, then I'd be like, what the hell's going on? But
Could happen.
But no, it's not.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
No, but he's talking about the environment. He's like, he said, no one's staffing the main checkout lines. Massive line for self-checkout. Stores are messy. Items are on stock. There's just, and so I don't know if this is a function of not being able to get workers to work, like some of the same problems restaurants and other public-facing retail establishments have, or if something is something sort of, if it's sort of the same thing that you have vagrancy and you have people, there's no way to expel people who shouldn't be there, creating some sort of public nuisance in metropolitan areas, or what?
Well, I can tell you one thing. For the suburban stores and the downtown ones, grocery stores, they have all these checkout lines, and you'll have maybe one. Everything is now self-checkout. So why do you have all these lanes that are never open? They'll only have one or two lanes.
Well, because because they were built 10, 15, 20 years ago, and so it's just infrastructure.
But it just reminds me of how it used to be. Like, all those lanes used to be open and used to check out quick and get out the door, and now checkout is just a pain in the butt.
I mean, I go to Walgreens sometimes. You know,
And what do you buy?
know,
Little Dan,
if
what
I-
do you get?
if
when
I
you
need
go
a
to Walgreens?
Topo Chico seltzer for the road.
Have you ever bought
No.
ground beef and made
No.
spaghetti or
Have I ever made
made
spaghetti?
a sandwich?
No.
Meatloaf?
I mean, I can't. I have gone to the Publix, not here in Naples.
Yeah, what do you?
Because there is no Publixes up here.
No, there is
Right.
not.
I've gone to the Publix, so they've got
What
like
have you seen?
they've got like a nice whole like soup and sandwich area.
Oh, yeah, that's
and they've got like like a little sandwich counter where you can get a
Right.
sandwich made for us. It's wonderful.
Well, we used to have that before COVID. Then they got rid of salad bars and went away. Okay.
Well, Whole Foods still has it. By the way, here's something else.
Oh, that's whole.
Here's something
Whole
else.
Paycheck.
It's about this is about to get creepier. Starting at Whole Foods, this Amazon One technology.
Yeah.
Amazon is rolling out its palm scanning payment technology, Amazon One, to all Whole Foods locations by the end of 23. The end of this year. The report is the technology goes beyond scanning a customer's palm print, which I guess they provide in for their Amazon Prime account or a credit card, which eliminates the need to carry a wallet, phone.
So my palm print is going to be attached to my.
No, but
credit
it's
card
more than
number.
that. But it's the scan, the Amazon One scan, uses information like the vein pattern in the hand to establish identity.
Okay, this is so. I mean.
So
I'm
mean,
just
we were
figuring out Apple Pay on my
we
phone.
we were just talking about the orb and eye scans, and now people are blithely going to be giving Amazon, the vein patterns in their hands, so they don't have to use their phone or a credit card to pay. I mean, part of this is
Would
like
you be lazier.
I think there's some like convenience things that are great innovations, like the self checkout, but then there are some things where you're talking about, giving biometric information to corporations that you have every reason to be suspicious of in terms of sort of their general disposition towards a free society. Yeah, that's another reason I won't be going to Whole Foods. And I'm certainly not giving Amazon my vein
no,
pattern in my
no.
hand or giving the orb my eye scan. Don in Arlington Heights.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Morning.
Amy, get out. Come back to Arlington Heights and hang out with us at downtown Arlington Heights on Thursday and Friday nights. And why didn't you go to St. Viator instead of Hersey?
Why didn't I go to where?
St. Viator.
Oh,
St.
it was.
Viator
I thought it was all boys when I was growing up.
No.
No, because I'm not Catholic and we didn't have the money for that.
Thanks.
And Hersey High School's a better school.
Oh, you're smoking the good.
Why are you laughing?
St. Viator grads, feel free to call in on St. Viator, Hersey being a better
I'm
school
not
than
smoking
Viator.
anything, Mike Scott.
my
I'm
God.
telling you, Hersey High School is far
Oh,
superior
Hersey.
than St. Viator.
Amy,
what they did to those kids during COVID, and the kids that rebelled, they all got kicked out. No, I'm stand by my decision.
You drank the Kool-Aid. You drank the Kool-Aid.
Thanks for the call,
It's in
Don.
my veins.
What did Hersey do during COVID?
Well, remember when the St. Viator's kids fought back about the mask? Because remember the mask mandate was dropped,
Yeah.
and they got kicked out of St.
Yeah, well,
Viator.
there was a lot of
It was
Catholic schools
horrible.
that behaved badly during COVID too. But what did Hersey do?
Hersey, we didn't.
They had mask mandate.
Yeah, but when they dropped it, it was dropped. You know.
I mean, that's like eye of a needle.
I don't read. You know
type
what?
stuff
They
here.
didn't make any news or any tweets about it, so I'm sure everything went swimmingly well at Hersey High School.
Bill and Dyer, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Mush.
Hey,
Huskies.
hey, Amy, you got a problem, girl.
Yeah.
You went to Jewel to buy ground beef to make spaghetti.
What's wrong with that?
Don't you use? Everybody uses Italian sausage. Come on,
No,
Put
no,
some flavor. Put some flavor in your food, girl.
Yeah, and I have corned beef with mayonnaise on white bread.
Gross.
I do.
Call.
My Jewish boyfriend's dad used to rip on me for that.
Was he the competitive eater?
No.
Oh.
That was Patrick.
You miss him. Ron, Southside.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Amy, don't worry about calling it Jules. The other day, my wife corrected me, and this is what she said. How do you always say Jules? You go there all the time. You started working there in 1974. Worked there 6 years. How do you call it jewels? so it's okay, Amy. But you know what, guys? Yeah, I am very fortunate because I do live near a jewel. Now, I'm just saying it's on 95th and Stony Island. But now here's the key. I know that they stock all the products on Wednesday night. And see, I walk in the store with the employees. The managers know me, most of the employees. I'm one of the first people in the store. That's it. Actually, I'm really enjoying this topic because for years, shopping there is one of my favorite experience. And most of my friends and families know he loved jewels. So I just said, so yes, I get there early. I went one time, guys, in the evening time, and I freaked out. Told my wife, I can't do it anymore. So, but really, yeah.
Why did you see?
Early.
Did you see upside down pineapples?
I saw people.
Yeah. Well, see, you know, it's actually interesting. This is where I was going to go, Ron. Which is maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. These laments about the state of grocery stores. We're talking about it from the employer and the employee side, the provider side. Maybe we should be talking about it from the customer side, like you see those pictures of, the people of Walmart, that Twitter, the Twitter handle, and those pictures, and it's not limited to Walmart, that's for sure. So maybe it has more to do with the customers than it does the employees at grocery stores or the.
That's it. And like I said, when I get there, the security opens the door, employees go, I get in there, and I'm fine with. You all have a great day.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ron. I've been to that jewel
first thing on Wednesday morning.
Stony. It's huge. It's nice. Their prices are so different than our prices, though. It's just amazing me.
Mike in Elmhurst. Hey, Mike.
Mike, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, how are you guys?
Good.
So my wife and I, we travel a lot into Mexico, and we always go into condos, and we end up grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
We no longer shop in the Chicago market. We started maybe, 8 years ago. There was this huge Whole Foods that went up in Willowbrook. My wife was there every other day, loved it. After COVID, it was just a wreck. Couldn't find anything. It was messy. We no longer shop. Everything is Instacart. But the grocery stores throughout Mexico City and Puerto Vallarta area, they're beautiful still. One of them, La Comer's, owned by Costco, and they're decorated, they're beautiful, they're clean. We start going there every other day when we're traveling now just to get the grocery experience.
Interesting. All right. Thanks for the call, Mike. Wow. We're losing grocery business to Mexico, south of the border.
I love the Hammond
Fred
Walmart.
Fred
I
and
go to
Hammond.
Walmart a few times a month.
Yeah,
you live a rich and interesting life.
In Hammond.
The Jewel on 95th and Stony Island, the Walmart in Hammond. Wow, all the garden spots.
The Walmart in Hammond. I go when I do yoga. Then I go to the Walmart in Hammond because you can get a box of cereal for $3.32. Why would I do that? The same box is for $7.99 at Southport Jewels.
Yeah, you only have to drive an extra,
42 miles.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, all right. Sorry, Fred. We were interrupting your call there.
Oh, okay. We've got two Walmarts in Hammond. The one in South Hammond, like 2 blocks from my house. And you go in there and shelves are empty, whether it's groceries or clothing or whatever. I drive 9 miles to the one in North Hammond, which is about 2 blocks from Chicago.
Yeah, by Cabela's.
They got everything.
Yeah. The one by Cabela's, right?
That's the one by my house in South Hammond.
Amy's going to Hammond to get cereal and ammo.
By Horseshoe.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It's a lot nicer up there, but the S on Jewels, that came from the back of the word Illinois.
There you go. So wait, so why is one Walmart in better shape than the other 9 miles apart?
I got to say management.
Yeah, okay.
Got to be management.
Thanks for the call, Fred. Appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Didn't mean to cut him off. Ed and Glen Ellen.
Dan, we love you, but those of us who know you know that you talking about grocery stores and what it's like going into a grocery store is like talking to an atheist about the Bible.
It really is. I mean, I concede the point. Thanks for the call, Ed. I have no idea. I said from the beginning, I have no idea. All I know is buying, spirits at the Publix in Naples, next to the grocery store, and then, that they don't buy themselves. And sometimes I give my personal shopper a day off.
Oh yeah, right.
And then the sandwich and soup set up there and salad. It's nice.
A great idea. Why don't I give you my shopping list, and you can go shopping and you can live the experience. You can see what it's like out there.
No thanks.
Live a little.
No.
Huh? Do it for the kids.
That doesn't sound like a great experiential adventure, really, actually.
Well, I'll give you a certain amount of money, and you have to make it work. And if you don't find the items at the Jewels, then you got to go to Mariano's.
I would like to go,
or go to Costco.
Well, I would go to a grocery store like where the Naperville or Hinsdale folk shop.
Oh.
Because I want to see how many upside down pineapples are meandering about in shopping carts. I want to see what's going on there. See if I can track down some of these key parties I've heard so much about. Greg and Schaumburg.
Sadly, they do exist. You're not lying.
Hey, Dan and Amy. Amy, you with this now. I know you're probably planning a segment called Who's Dan Dating Now to replace the Why is Dan Single segment. And what if you were to do it at the...
No, that is not planned.
What if you were to do that at the local Jewel, Amy? Who would show up by demographics, and how many phone numbers would Dan walk out with at the end of the day?
I don't know. I mean, Dan's a looker, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you know that. He's right up there with Michelle Obama.
I really am. Just another side of beefcake like Michelle.
Every time I go to an event, ladies come up to me and ask about you.
Yeah, and then they have to get bused back to the senior center right after that.
No,
event.
they're not. They're younger. You should be very pleased. I gave him the standard line. He's in the bathroom.
Yeah. Right. The people are going to start asking why I'm in the bathroom so much. They think I've got like a Hunter Biden problem.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know most vitamin supplements have a warning label on the back? That's because without the synergy of thousands of nutrients working together that are found naturally in whole fruits and vegetables, vitamins are not balanced. This is why Balance of Nature only uses whole fruits and vegetables, no isolates or synthetic vitamins of any kind. We take a variety of 31 of the highest quality fruits and vegetables and remove the water without changing the rich chemistry. It's then ground to a powder, blended to perfection, and encapsulated, preserving the nutrients and making it easy to get the fruits and vegetables you need. So even though Balance of Nature comes in a capsule and looks like a vitamin, it's very different. Go to balanceofnature.com and for a limited time this summer, get a free fruit and veggies travel set plus $25 off your first order as a preferred customer when you use discount code CHICAGO.
Rest easy knowing your savings are secure and earning you more with a Wintrust MaxSafe account. With MaxSafe, you get up to 15 times the standard FDIC personal protection. That's right, 15 times the protection with the ability to secure up to $3.75 million per account holder. Now that's banking as it should be. Call 833-MaxSafe to talk with a local Wintrust banker today. That's 833-MaxSafe. Peace of mind is just a phone call away. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp Banks. Member FDIC. See FDIC.gov for deposit insurance coverage rules.
This is Mike Gallagher. Sign up today for an unforgettable experience in Israel this October. Dennis Prager and I are traveling to the Holy Land on the Stand With Israel tour with our trusted partner, Inspiration Cruises and Tours. This is a trip of a lifetime. You don't want to miss it. Register today before it's too late. Visit standwithisraeltour.com, standwithisraeltour.com, or call 855-565-5519, 855-565-5519. And together, let's stand with Israel.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number ForeverRemodeling.com.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize your car insurance to save hundreds. Here's what those savings sound like in dollar bills. Here's what it sounds like in quarters. And here's what that sounds like in cryptocurrency, a thing I totally understand. 1010, I am money, cha-ching, beep boop, $sign.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Earlier in the program, we gave you a look into Chicago's future with a CNN emphasis report on San Francisco. We'll give you another look at Chicago's future. A decade after bankruptcy, how's Detroit doing? We'll start there with Ted Jabrowski from Wire Points at 7:37.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Smith.
71 degrees. 7:31 is our time. Chicago could see the hottest weather of the summer this week. Heat indices reaching or exceeding 100 degrees as the steamy summer weather, fairly typical, settles in. Cooling centers are open 9 to 5. Air quality will be impacted as well. Talks resuming this morning between the UPS and Teamsters in hopes of agreeing on a new contract. The current agreement expires July 31st. Several large customers that utilize UPS have notified customers this week there may be major shipping delays. The IRS is ending unannounced visits to taxpayers. The agency says it's looking to enhance safety measures and help ease confusion among taxpayers. Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez is in stable condition after he shot himself in the head along a Florida highway.
Please keep this family in your prayers. This is a man with a stellar career in law enforcement, and we want to make sure that we are trying to do everything we possibly can to get him back to full recovery. That's
according to authorities who say Sunday's incident happened after an argument with his wife. Texas Governor Greg Abbott maintains he has constitutional authority in his defiance of a federal order to remove a floating border wall on the Rio Grande.
Working together, these devices have turned away and repelled tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people who try to enter into the United States illegally.
Yesterday, the Department of Justice filed suit against Texas. Fire broke out in a rail yard in Inglewood this morning. Fire broke out around 5 a.m., 10 to 15 cars were set on fire. An investigation continues after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side. Officers were conducting a vehicle stop last night near 56th and Shields when one officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand. He remains hospitalized in good condition. Chicago sports has the White Sox and Cubs going at it at guaranteed rate tonight. Kyle Hendricks against Michael Kopech. Chase Claypool's time on the PUP list is coming to an end after one day. Bears wideout was cleared for training camp, which begins today. The news, a service of MyPillow, and the MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price $69.98, now only $19.98 with promo code Amy. Visit MyPillow.com. Use your promo code Amy. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk wants excellence.
I want the conservative movement to pursue excellence. I want our movement to be the best. And when someone is not performing at their best, I get saddened and disappointed over it. I want President Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence. I want them to be running the best campaigns they can. I think it makes us more prepared to beat the Democrats.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Reveille. By now, most Americans, even in COVID-crazy Illinois, where J.B. Pritzker kept emergency orders in place for over 3 years, know that there is no longer a COVID emergency. But that didn't stop Illinois Democrats from spending $1.3 billion in COVID funds in this year's budget. Last Friday, 3 Republican state reps, Brad Halbrick, Chris Miller, and Dan Calkins, blew the whistle on the spending and wrote about where the money was going. The biggest grant, over $228 million, is going to support the Reimagine Public Safety Act, which gives out violence prevention grants to local community organizations. As the state reps wrote, it's unclear how any of this qualifies as COVID-related. In 2023, there's nothing urgent, there's no emergency over COVID-19, and we know of no violence prevention grant that offers remediation from the virus. Also receiving taxpayer funds under the pretense that it's COVID-related are the following: $20 million to the Opening Doors program, a racist program that gives money to only people of color for closing costs to buy a home. $300,000 each to the Catherine Dunham and Miles Davis museums in East St. Louis. $2.5 million for disadvantaged and urban farmers. Over $8 million to United Power, a leftist Chicago community organizing group. And a $500,000 to the Peoria Chamber of Commerce. Did you send your hard-earned money to Springfield so that they can give it away to the Peoria Chamber of Commerce? Instead of taking money from taxpayers, including the businesses that the chamber supports, they should give the money back and rally businesses for a tax cut from Springfield. Read the whole list on our website, breakthrough-ideas.com. And if you recognize an organization in your area that received these grants, tell them to give it back too. I'm Jeannie Ives. To learn more, listen to my radio show Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. on this station and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com. That's breakthrough-ideas.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dan Migatz, co-owner and CFO of AM Woodland Outdoor Design in Mundelein, and a new customer of Signature Bank. We specialize in the creative design and construction of outdoor living spaces, providing our residential and commercial customers first-in-class landscaping services. Our company was founded as a one-man operation, and today has grown into a multifaceted, one-stop shop for outdoor and indoor design and contracting needs. Signature Bank was there to provide the capital needed to grow our expansion efforts. We wanted to work with a bank that understands our business and is relationship-focused. Signature Bank is what a relationship bank is all about. We're excited to continue our partnership for many years to come.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you speed, there are lots of sounds that you might hear, like the sound of your vehicle crashing, because eventually, speeding catches up with you.
7:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. We'll start in Palos Hills this morning, where the roadway is down to one lane. That's 103rd westbound at Roberts because of a water main break. Elgin, an accident, Randall Road and Higgins, 8094. Reports of a disabled vehicle with a left express lane blocked westbound between Grant and Chase. Tri-State jamming up northbound between the Reagan and the outbound Eisenhower ramps. Dan Ryan, 27, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. And on the Kennedy, coming inbound, 66 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast, hazy sun. It's the start of an extended period of heat and humidity this week. Today will top out near 92. 71 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Run,
has the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said when you're
Well, that
moving
theme
out.
music means it's time for our weekly confab with Ted Dabrowski, President of WirePoints. WirePoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. And talking about Illinois policy, you do comparison and contrast to what other cities, big cities, and states around the country are doing. And, you know, there's been so much talk over the years about Illinois' insolvency and Chicago's insolvency, which it, you know, functionally is if you applied private sector standards, but we don't. And the idea that to get out of the unfunded pension, public sector pension liability, for example, maybe the state or the city or both could declare bankruptcy, bailouts from the Fed are not coming. So it's just interesting to think about the highest profile bankruptcy, municipal bankruptcy in recent memory, and that was Detroit's. It's been a decade.
Really? That went by fast?
Yeah, well, so now you've had some time to see
if it worked.
Well, what the results are, right?
I remember kids would go to school and just to learn that their school shut down and they converge with the school 5 blocks away. That's how bad it was at one point.
In the intervening years, I remember just a few years ago, maybe pre-COVID, there was all this talk about Detroit resurgence and the Quicken Loans guy who owns the Cavs, so he's buying up properties, residential properties for a song, and there's going to be redevelopment of Detroit and so on and so forth.
And then the Hmong community was doing organic farming in certain Detroit blocks where they raised the houses, and then it turned into a artisan community.
Oh,
downtown,
yeah.
you know.
It's going to be like, Portland.
Art district. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what they were trying to, and they wanted
Right.
big tech companies to come there. And
Well, it is like Portland in terms of the crime, but not otherwise. James Hohman has a really good piece in Reason magazine about this. In 2013, residents found out that the group the city owed the most money to was not banks or bondholders or city contractors. It was the city's pensioners. Listen up, Chicago city employees, and state employees for that matter, although the problems are more pronounced in the city of Chicago and a lot of municipalities too, police and fire. Listen up. Obviously, they were the largest creditors because the city didn't have the money to pay out current beneficiaries. So Detroit retirees got their pensions cut in bankruptcy. That's what happened, in case people forgot.
Oh.
The city also no longer pays for retiree health insurance, which the state does. Illinois, I'm talking about. 20 years in on the job, and you get health insurance for the rest of your life, or at least till you're Medicare eligible. Retirees in Detroit instead rely on coverage from the Obamacare exchanges and any subsidies they may be eligible for there, plus Medicare when eligible. Pensioners would have gotten a better deal had the people managing their investments not been corrupt and exploited their positions to benefit themselves. Gee, golly. Could you cut and paste that statement and cut it and paste it all over Illinois and Chicago? Multiple Detroit pension officers and advisors, by the way, were sent to prison for taking bribes. That's a fact. So where does it stand today? Mr. Holman, writing in The Reason, reminds us, an important step in emerging from bankruptcy was for the bankruptcy court to certify the city's bankruptcy plan was feasible, that the city would not fall back into solvency shortly after going through bankruptcy court. City officials hired a high-priced consultant who wrote a 226-page report on the subject, and the conclusion was the plan feasible? Tough to say. 226 pages to say no one really knows.
No one knows.
Tough call. So where's Detroit today? Still losing people. The city's population dropped from 700,000 to 620,000 in the last decade. Detroit is the poorest city in America. The Motor City's poverty rate?
What?
32%. The next closest city in the country is Memphis at 24. The national average is 12.5. So it's almost 3x the national average. Median household income is $34,000, which is half the national average. Listen to this stat.
Okay.
Only 39.6% of Detroit residents were working in 2022. Less than 4 in 10 are working.
And the rest were just sitting at home?
The people living in the city are subject to an inordinate amount of crime as well. More than a quarter of Detroit residents say they have been victims of vehicle theft, home or auto break-in, property vandalism, or physical violence in the past year, according to a survey by University of Michigan. 1 in 4 Detroit residents have been a victim of vehicle theft, home or auto break-in, property vandalism, or physical violence just in the last year. That's life after people. That's where Detroit's going. As the author concludes, Detroit has many problems. Bankruptcy solved one, the city's inability to pay its pensioners and other creditors. It didn't make the city more prosperous, more functional, or less corrupt. Detroit continues to earn its reputation as a poor, dysfunctional city. So for those who are saying, well, if you can get out from underneath the pension obligations, as many have said, including on the conservative side of the spectrum, well, then we can reorganize Chicago. We can revitalize Chicago and the state as well if we can get out from under these massive unfunded public sector pension and public sector health benefits. Detroit did. And it's the poorest city in America. And
one of the most dangerous.
Yeah. Particularly on a per capita basis. 1 in 4 residents just in the last year has been a victim of a serious crime. Wow. It's big numbers. So San Francisco, look into Chicago's future. Detroit, look into Chicago's future, because the thing that hasn't changed in San Francisco or Detroit or Chicago is the mentality of the electorate and the people they elect. So you're going to get more of what you've been getting. Ted Dabrowski, President, Wirepoints, wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
How about that Detroit story?
Oh, it's an amazing story. I remember exactly that same week that they filed for bankruptcy. I'd never been to Detroit. And so me and 2 other colleagues got in the car and we went to Detroit for 2 or 3 days. And, I wanted to see it with my own eyes because I couldn't believe, that whole story. And when I got there, so we met three important people in the community. One was a bond guy. And so he knew all about, the negotiations and the risks. One was a newspaper guy, Detroit Free Press. And the other was a activist who'd been county commissioner and all that stuff forever. They said there are 3 big lessons to take away from that. And this is the problem with the Detroit bankruptcy. They waited till the city was done before they filed for bankruptcy. So there was nothing left. You could file for bankruptcy, but all you needed to do, which is what we did, we drove around the city, and there was nothing left. There was nothing left. You had that hub of the downtown, and then there was just empty, raised homes all over the place. And, they said, first and foremost, respect the taxpayer, because once you lose your taxpayer and they flee, and that's what they did, right? Detroit lost like 1 million whites. So they lost their tax base. Then they lost their black middle class. Then the tax base was totally gone. They said also watch out for the financial markets because they will come after you. Once they smell it, they'll come after you. And the third thing they said is stop promising things you can't afford. It's immoral. It will bankrupt you. And that's precisely what happened.
That's when
we are a decade later.
When I lived there, people were setting their homes on fire to try to get the, insurance money, and that was rampant.
But enough about Mitt Romney.
Oh.
Remember the famous story? Mitt Romney's house went from it was like from, in the late 80s, it was like a $1.5 million house. Then in the turn of the century, it was a $600,000 house. By the time Detroit declared bankruptcy, it was worth $0. So,
Yeah,
that's the cautionary tale. So now, Ted, fold in, with all your knowledge of Chicago and Illinois, fold in and tell us what the comparisons and contrasts are.
Well, I tell you, and to get that, I think I mentioned one time. There's a great book. When I went there, I learned about the book. It's called Detroit: An American Autopsy by a guy named Charlie LaDuff.
Oh yeah, I have that book. Yep.
It was so good because you read it and you say, "Uh-oh, is this what's happening in Chicago?" And most of it had to do with the incompetence of course, the people are electing incompetent leaders, and the incompetent
Like
leaders
Coleman
kept
Young.
doing the same stuff. Exactly.
Well, Dennis Archer was
And-
there,
and,
and the list goes on and on.
Yeah,
They all had
and-
the same
and, well,
policies.
They had the same policies. Is all the same stuff. All they let crime happen. Of course, they never got control of crime. People started burning houses all the time. Then you had the big burning parties. And Amy, by the way, people stopped doing it for insurance. What they explained is that they started just doing it for parties. You just get a whole bunch of people together. You burn the house across the street, and you hang out and just watch. So it's a lot about this crime, the collapsing education, the lack of merit. It's just a decrepit management, and these people aren't. And again, same thing like Mayor Johnson. They're not professionals. They are social justice warriors. They're not business people. They're not managers, and they don't care about these like merit and competition and attracting investment. They just double down on the bad things. People keep buying it, and you spiral, and that's the spiral. We're in that spiral right now, and it's hard to see us stopping it, especially as you watch Mayor Johnson continue to implement the little things that he does that perpetuate these problems.
Well, that's why, like, this idea that, police and fire pension funds in Chicago are both less than 25% funded. That's death spiral. And so if and when they ultimately fail, and I think they will, then you say, oh, well, the feds will come in or the state will come in or you'll find the money somewhere. Maybe you will, but what's that going to do? You think that stabilizes the city? No, it doesn't. It's just going to force more people out. More people are going to flee when it becomes real. I mean, people that can do like grade school arithmetic are already fleeing. The people that are comfortable with their self-delusions or just trying to get more for them before they take off, they're next out the door. And if something actually happens to prove there are consequences to generations of terrible public policy, then you'll have people heading for the turnstiles like they are in Detroit.
Well, and it has to happen. I'm sorry to say it. It's sad to say, but Detroit didn't have the amount of pension debt that Illinois does. Illinois, if you look at a Chicago household, not only do they have these massive city debts, right, the police and fire and the city workers, but then there's the Cook County pension debts they have to pay, and then there's the state pension debts they're on the hook for, and the state retiree health care insurance they have to pay for. So I would argue that you're going to see at some point when the city tries to start raising the money in a more serious way, because right now it's not raising enough, then people will leave faster. And it's already happening anyway, right? When you look at the likes of the Griffins and the latest departure from the rail company, we're going to lose our wealthiest, and then it gets really hard. Then you've got the middle class to go after, but then the tax hikes have to be even bigger to get the money out of the middle class.
Well, what about that 3% flat tax that Mayor Johnson wants to implement on people who make $100,000 or more?
Yeah,
I mean, how are they? What are they just going to send bills to people's houses? I mean, how are they going to implement that?
You have to get General Assembly approval. You have to get the state legislature to approve it.
I heard you. It's just the aldermen have to approve
Wrong.
it. Wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I need state approval, but again, they can keep doing that stuff, but it's always at the margin. And remember, we always talk about this out-migration stuff. There's two things that happen in cities and states. People move out and people move in. And what's going to happen in Chicago is more people move out and fewer people move in, because you don't want to be the sucker that comes in and has to pay all the bills. And people, and the more the national press gets out there about the crime, about the doom loop, about these higher property taxes, they're not going to come here, or if they do, they're immigrants who are going to get state help and city help instead of the ones who contribute to the tax base.
Some good news I saw you reporting from the perspective of the prevailing viewpoint in the city. The good news, we have the largest black-white unemployment spread in the country. Black unemployment in Illinois is north of 10%. That's great news because, number one, you need people dependent on the government in order to have your constituency if you're BLM Brandon or Jelly Belly. So that's good news. So more people are on the welfare rolls. And number two, they've got big plans. The way that you address the unemployment gap and unemployment generally is to put more people on public payrolls like Brandon Johnson wants to do. So there you go. That's what you get. You get people at the bottom that are dependents on the state, and you get the economic club types that are insulated from terrible public policy that live here in the summer and then go somewhere else and pretend they're, Chicago's tribal elders, and nothing in between. And that's the perfect recipe for continued political hegemony.
Dan, I mean, the data is always so damning. Nobody cares about data, as we know here. But when we started running these numbers the other day, it was just fascinating. I had no idea that we had the highest gap. So if you look at the white unemployment rate in the first quarter for Illinois, 3.3%, right? So down there at the bottom, like most countries. But then you look at the blacks, over 10%, and the 7.2% gap between blacks and whites in Illinois is the highest in the country, and that's despite all these equity and progressive agenda that Pritzker and Lightfoot and all these Johnson, they don't work, and that's it's obvious to us, but the data should make it obvious. They don't work. They actually make things worse.
We need to invest in communities. We need a Marshall Plan for the West and South Sides. We need year-round employment financed by city government. We need universal basic income financed by Tony Preckwinkle. Just all the more reason that we got to attack this crisis, Ted. We got to attack this equity crisis, and that means more government at every level.
Yeah, and yesterday I was with one of these guys from the Civic Committee, Civic Fed, type BGA type guys.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday, and it's fascinating. It's painful because here you are. These are the titans of finance and economics and private equity and all that stuff. And they know numbers. They know that they know what bailouts look like and all that. And yet they don't fight this kind of stuff. This data is not good enough for them. They want to make sure they're invited to the parties.
Right.
Well, you know what? I wish those kind of people won't talk to me because I will slap them around rhetorically and more if necessary. But somebody needs to remind them, hey, buddy, your business, if you can't move it, and whatever you have left in the city, and you personally, you think there's a Scarlet Pimpernel coming to save you when the Neo-Jacobins come for you, buddy? Just remember, I told you, you're on your own. They're scared. Well, they're cowards. They've been used to being respected, revered, catered to because they have a little bit of cash or because they're part of a big operation, and now they're just afraid and they don't know what to do. They're house cats.
What's funny is they complained that Griffin picked up and left. So it's a funny thing. They complain about that, but you got to be thinking they're thinking the same thing. They don't know they've got to maintain their graces in the public, but they've got to be scared.
Ted Dabrowski, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Ted, thanks as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch,
Dan,
and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful at lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question, and the owners of Relief Factor tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. That's right, designed to heal, and I agree with them. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, yes, 100% drug-free ingredients, each helping your body deal with inflammation. Each of the 4 ingredients deals with inflammation from a different metabolic pathway. That's right there, approaching from 4 different angles, maybe why so many people find such wonderful relief. So if you have back pain, shoulder, neck, hip, knee, or foot pain from exercise or just getting older, you should order the 3-week quick start, discounted to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you. It has for about 70% of the 500,000 people who've tried it, and they've ordered more. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF, the number 4RELIEF, to find out about this offer. Feel the difference.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tony Blinken says that Ukraine is winning the war against Russia. The counteroffensive is going swimmingly. That's not what U.S. military is saying. We'll have Bradley Bowman on to suss it out for us at 8:08.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
A CPD officer shot on the south side. Dixmoor getting $14 million from the state. WIND Chicago News Time 8.
House Republicans are moving closer to opening an impeachment inquiry. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells Fox they've proven the Biden family got money doing business in China.
The House Oversight Committee has locked in a closed-door deposition for Devin Archer, former associate of Hunter Biden, who himself has been convicted of securities fraud and sentenced to prison time. Yesterday, the White House said the president has never been in business with his son Hunter, a subtle but real messaging shift from prior claims that he has never spoken to Hunter about his foreign business.
That's Fox's Jillian Turner. House Republicans also plan to question, perhaps in September, David Weiss, the U.S. attorney overseeing the Hunter Biden tax investigation, which IRS whistleblowers claim was marred by political interference to benefit the president's son, who will plead guilty tomorrow to 2 tax evasion misdemeanors. There's been another incident with Russia. The U.S. military says a Russian aircraft shot flares at a U.S. drone on a mission against ISIS terrorists. The drone was damaged but able to be flown safely to its base. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he'll fight a new Justice Department lawsuit all the way to the Supreme Court, refusing to remove floating barriers along part of the Rio Grande River. It claims are cruel, unsafe, and illegal. The Republican tells Fox the federal government needs to
enforce the laws already on the books that prevent people from crossing between the ports of entry. Until the Biden administration does that, Texas will be stepping up to do so.
Another Republican running for president is qualified for the first debate next month. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has just met the polling threshold. Burgum already had the required number of campaign donors. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's also qualified for that Republican presidential debate, was in a car accident a short time ago on the way to an event in Tennessee, but DeSantis was not hurt. America's listening to Fox News.
71 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago could see the hottest weather of the summer this week. Heat indices up over the 100 mark as hot and steamy weather settles in. Fire broke out in a rail yard in Inglewood this morning. Around 5 a.m., 15 to 20 cars on fire. An investigation is underway after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side. It happened last night near 56th and South Shields. One officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand and remains hospitalized in good condition. No one hurt after a 10-year-old boy fired shots at Chicago police during a standoff on the far south side. Boy was fired at police near a home in the 9800 block of South Charles Avenue. He was eventually taken into custody after officers fired chemicals up onto a porch. Vice President Kamala Harris addressed a gathering of Democrat and progressive members of the Latino community yesterday.
Where extremists, so-called leaders, have a blueprint to attack hard-won freedoms and rights.
The VP in town yesterday delivering the keynote address at a national conference for mostly Democrat Latino leaders. Crosstown Series, White Sox and Cubs at guaranteed rate. First pitch, 7:10 tonight. The news service of the AM 560 mobile app. Text the word app to 64636. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
General Motors, General Electric, and 3M all reported better than expected quarters this morning and are raising expectations for the year. Verizon also reported upbeat earnings. The Federal Reserve meets today and tomorrow. It's expected to raise interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. Inflation may be moderating, but some companies are still raising prices. Unilever, maker of Dove soap, Hellmann's mayonnaise, Knorr soups, and many other brands, says it charged 8% more in the recent quarter compared with a year ago because it's paying more for ingredients, wages, and energy. Elon Musk's decision to rebrand Twitter as X could result in some legal challenges. Reuters says multiple companies have intellectual property rights to the same letter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum explains the heart of the nation.
The heart of America is in a small town. The heart of America is in the flyover states. That's what America is all about. Men and women busting their tail to keep this country going. Who do you think is making your food? They're the ones that keep the country moving. They're the ones that make the world go round, in my opinion.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
8:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg traffic center time and the inbound Edens at 33 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction, Kennedy inbound. Right now it's just about 90 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Eisenhower Inn is an hour from 390 to the old post office. Stevenson 53 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and the Dan Ryan 30 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Some hazy sun today, the high 92, partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, low 74. Severe morning thunderstorm for tomorrow, partly sunny and humid, the high tomorrow at 90, and then partly sunny, hot Thursday, the high 94. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Our animatronic Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, was on Fareed Zakaria's show over the weekend to hit some softballs. A little BP.
Yeah.
You got a little BP, a little political BP there. Fareed Zakaria is always dutiful in service of the powers that be. And here's Blinken's take on how things stand in Ukraine, how the counteroffensive is going.
In terms of what Russia sought to achieve, what Putin sought to achieve, they've already failed. They've already lost. The objective was to erase Ukraine from the map, to eliminate its independence, its sovereignty, to subsume it into Russia. That failed a long time ago. Now Ukraine is in a battle to get back more of the land that Russia seized from it. It's already taken back about 50% of what was initially seized. Now they're in a very hard fight to take back more. These are still relatively early days of the counteroffensive. It is tough. The Russians have put in place strong defenses, but I'm convinced that with the equipment and support they've received now from more than 50 countries, with the training that their forces have gotten, and many of the forces who've gotten that training have not yet been put fully into this fight, and maybe more than anything else, with the fact that, unlike the Russians, the Ukrainians are fighting for their land, for their future, for their country, for their freedom, I think that is the decisive element, and that's going to play out. But it will not play out over the next week or two. We're still looking, I think, at several months.
That answer has all the classic earmarks of a Ukrainian disinformation campaign, I think. Several months. Yes, several months. There may be a big decision for the regime here to make. That was essentially the viewpoint of retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. So a military perspective on the Ukrainian counteroffensive, and he was on Fox going through it with maps and everything, showing this sort of 600-mile perimeter, which is about a third the size of the length of our southern border, where Russia is dug in. And he's suggesting that in a couple of months, we're going to have to make a decision about what to do in a stalemate situation. Lieutenant General Kellogg.
You're looking at the largest and longest land war in Europe since World War II, and the Ukrainians are having a bit of a problem right now. You're looking at a fight that's going on where hundreds of thousands have been killed. Major cities like Mariupol have been destroyed. 1/3 of the Ukrainian population has been displaced as refugees. And if you're getting some warning signs now that the offensive is not going well. The reason the offensive is not going well, primarily in the south, and this is where they're really trying to go, is because of the built-in and dug-in Russian fortifications, which is trench lines and minefields. You generally need a 3-to-1 advantage when you attack for the offense to the defense to punch through, and they're really not getting there. But the biggest thing they don't have is close air support. That was mentioned this week in not only the Wall Street Journal but elsewhere, and we talked about before. So you've got to have that cover. We had it in Vietnam, we had it in the Gulf War, you had it in World War II. Not having that close air support really does impede their ability to attack. Why is that important? Because if they get into a war of attrition, that's Russian advantage. If they get in a war of maneuver, Ukrainian advantage. And if they get into the fall and they're still having a stalemate, then it's going to be hard questions for the United States of America. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Do we need to head to an armistice? Do we need to talk about it? So I don't think we've given them all the tools. We talk about it, but they don't have it. Because artillery just doesn't win the game. Infantry just doesn't win the game. That by not having that third and critical piece, which is air support. We didn't give them the F-16s. They should have given them something like the A-10 Warthogs. They haven't done it. So there's a real problem for them to fight through. And my concern is with those warning flags going right now, I think we're heading towards a stalemate.
So who's giving it to us straight? Or maybe no one is. Bradley Bowman is a senior director of the Center on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins us now. Bradley Bowman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So, Lieutenant General Kellogg or our animatronic Secretary of State, who's telling us something approximating the truth?
I'd say a little bit of both. I'm a former U.S. Army officer, taught at West Point, deployed to Afghanistan, worked 9 years in the U.S. Senate. I'm at a think tank now in D.C., and I'm trying to call balls and strikes. Life's too short not to. And my bottom line is that I think there are core and important U.S. interests at stake in Ukraine. This is an unprovoked invasion on the part of Russia. And that it is, I think Secretary Blinken is roughly accurate that Ukraine has reclaimed approximately 50% of the territory from the high water mark. That reflects analysis by the Institute of Study of War as well. You can quibble here and there, who controls this, who controls that, but that's about right. What's also true is that the counteroffensive is not going that well. I mean, Ukraine's own defense minister has admitted that, and compared to what, right? Whenever you hear someone say that, you got to say compared to what? Well, compared to expectations. We have a little bit of a microwave culture here where we want everything yesterday. Bottom line is, as the general said, the Ukrainians are facing, in the early days and weeks of the war, I argued against establishing a no-fly zone because anyone who understands the enforcement of a no-fly zone means that would put U.S. and Russian forces in direct conflict with one another. And I argued against sending U.S. troops, but I did argue for sending as many weapons as possible to Ukraine as quickly as possible to help them defend their homes against this unprovoked invasion. So if Ukraine is made a member of NATO, right, then Kyiv could trigger Article 5 under the North Atlantic Treaty and say an attack on them is an attack against all of us, and that could involve a scenario where you would have U.S. forces fighting Russians. To me, the grand strategic objective here is to try to help Ukraine defeat this invasion while avoiding a direct conflict between U.S. and Russia. And that's guided my analysis and my policy recommendations from the beginning.
Well, then we wouldn't be cheerleading Ukraine's entrance into NATO. And by the way, that wouldn't be the only reason we should be perhaps circumspect when it comes to the idea of Ukraine joining NATO, right?
Well, I mean, bring Ukraine in NATO would require every one of the 31 members to agree to that, and I don't see that happening anytime soon, whether we think it's a good idea or not. I think we need to bring a thoughtful analysis to every time we bring someone into NATO. But what I do know is that Putin should not have a veto over that, right? That's a decision for the alliance to make and each of its members, and whether countries want to be in it. I don't blame Ukraine for wanting to be in NATO. It's the most successful alliance in modern history. But we have to decide what makes sense. This is, as General Kellogg said, this is the largest invasion in Europe since World War II. We can't have thugs around the world thinking that they can use military force to redraw borders. I think what happens in Ukraine is going to matter in Beijing and Pyongyang and in Tehran. So that's just one of the reasons why I think this outcome matters. And I often like to use the metaphor of a neighborhood, right? If your neighbor is experiencing a home invasion and they're asking for you to pass a baseball bat over the back fence, then you do that, right? Because you don't want the thugs to think that they can get away with invading homes in the neighborhood. So, we've given roughly $43 billion in security assistance to Ukraine during the Biden administration. That's a fraction of our annual defense budget. We are dealing body blows to the second leading conventional threat to the United States military without risking the lives of a single American soldier. So for me, that's a smart investment and not charity.
Well, so far, with respect to soldiers, although the Biden administration seems to be inching towards putting Americans in harm's way over there, we'll see how that plays out. But what about what the general said, just sort of the rosy scenario, Blinken, we're on the path to victory, but it may be a few months. And the general saying, actually, right now we're on the path to stalemate, and then we're going to have a decision to make. Which is it?
Yeah. No, I'm a student of history, and history tells me to be very cautious with predictions, especially about predictions about war. And if you want to make a prediction, I'd say generally speaking, things go worse and last longer than you'd expect. So maybe that's the pessimist in me, and maybe it's the former military officer. I think we have, it's interesting. You can look at the Winter War with Finland and the Soviet Union back in 1939, 1940 for some comparisons, some lessons here. But the bottom line is, if you look at how Russia's blowing up this church founded in 1794 in Odessa and is attacking grain silos, they're creating generations and generations of hatred among Ukrainians. And so there's a strong desire on the part of Ukrainians to retake their entire country, including Crimea. But the problem is they don't have the combat power anytime soon to do that. So you have this mismatch between desire and capability, and then you have kind of this slow rolling no, maybe, yes process we've seen in the Biden administration, where they seem reluctant to provide Ukraine the means to defend their homes, which is only prolonging the war.
So is the general right then when he talks about near air support, and where the F-16s and the Warthogs that were promised?
I'm not a former fighter pilot, but I'm a former Black Hawk pilot in the U.S. Army. And I would encourage your listeners to focus on what the weapons do rather than the weapons themselves. The reason why you want an F-16 is three reasons: hitting Russian ground targets further behind, hitting them close up, that's close air support that he referred to, and shooting down other aircraft. You can do a lot of those things more cheaply with other weapon systems without the long logistics and sustainment tail. But the bottom line is Ukraine's Russian Soviet era planes eventually aren't going to be flyable anymore and will be destroyed, and we're going to have to replace them with something. So we should have started this F-16 path a long time ago, but they're not going to be a silver bullet. I'm a big A-10 fan. I was Senator Kelly Ayotte's national security advisor. She fought the Air Force for 3 years trying to prevent the premature divestment of the A-10. So I'm an A-10 fan. But, if you send A-10s to Ukraine, expect a lot of them to be shot down, right? Because, this is a tough battle, and Russians have significant air and missile defense capabilities.
You mentioned China and what happens in Ukraine will inform Beijing's attitude toward America and perhaps toward Taiwan. What do you make of? How do you interpret the disappearance and now dismissal of Qin Gang, the foreign minister, Xi's foreign minister?
We have a China program in our center. I'm eager to hear their thoughts on this. I don't have any immediate conjecture on that right now. But what I say to Americans regarding the China threat is, from my perspective, this is unlike any threat we've confronted in modern American history. And I say that because China combines an economy roughly the size of our own, a military that is dramatically and rapidly improving, and a hostile ideology. This isn't just, hey, we want to have some power to throw around in East Asia. This is Beijing has global ambitions. And if you want to know what that world would look like, where Beijing has disproportionate influence and begins calling the shots and displacing the United States, then look no further than Hong Kong. Look at the squelching, neglecting their international obligations, squelching freedom, putting people in prison because they don't like what they're saying. And that's one of the reasons why the 26 million people of Taiwan are so eager to defend themselves, because they're seeing what's happening in Hong Kong, and they don't want any part of that. So, I guess if there's a silver lining to this deplorable invasion in Ukraine, is that it's been kind of a wake-up call for Americans that, naked aggression is not relegated to the black and white newsreels of the first half of the 20th century. Human nature is human nature. Thugs are going to be thugs, and they're going to take as much as they can. And we better, when we turn to our arsenal of democracy and find it's not there, we better wake up. We better increase our defense industrial base, because once the shooting starts in the Taiwan Strait, it's too late to do anything about that.
One of the other topics, too, and this somewhat relates to Ukraine, why there's some chippiness about continued support of Ukraine, is because it doesn't seem like this administration takes our borders as seriously as it does Ukraine's borders. And there's a new report out that 41% of illegal immigrants that the Biden administration has released into the U.S. Haven't shown up for their court dates. And this is despite the release of people into this country who are not citizens, who came to this country seeking asylum. This is despite a TRO issued by a federal district court judge blocking Department of Homeland Security from releasing non-citizens in the United States through Biden's parole with conditions policy. This parole with conditions policy is basically the honor system, and thousands and thousands of people are not honoring Biden's honor system.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on immigration. I focus on foreign policy and defense policy. But, just as an American citizen, I'd say we want secure borders, and you're not a nation state if you can't control your borders. I used the home metaphor earlier, that Ukraine is experiencing a home invasion. If someone's first act is entering our country is to disrespect our laws, I don't appreciate that. And we need to be able to decide who we invite into our home, and they should be there at invitation. But I do respectfully reject what, not necessarily you saying that, but what some suggest is really as a false choice between supporting Ukraine and securing our border. We're a great country. I have a high opinion of our country. I think we can do both. Just again, our annual defense budget is roughly $860 billion. We spent $42 billion helping Ukraine. Our helping Ukraine does not prevent us from doing what's necessary on our southern border. And I think those who suggest that it's one or the other don't really understand the facts.
No, I agree. It's not, but it is disquieting. I agree. There's no choice there. It doesn't need to be a choice. It's not an either or, but it's wait a second. You're not interested in protecting our homeland, but you're interested in spending my money to protect somebody else's homeland. That doesn't compute. It's not that there's a choice that you have to make a choice of one or the other. You could do both, but you're not doing the one that should be the priority, our national security.
No, it's for sure. And you've heard me argue that our national security is at stake in Ukraine. I would just, I told you where I stand on our border. I would say make the arguments for doing what's necessary in our border, but don't bring Ukraine into that, because I think let's do what's necessary in our border. But for my part, I'm going to leave Ukraine out of that discussion.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I just think that a lot of people are tired of the Biden administration's disinformation campaigns too. That's getting a little wearisome. Bradley Bowman, Senior Director of Center on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Bradley Bowman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right, let's talk food. Let's talk summer food. You got the burgers, you got the hot dogs, you got the beef sandwiches, and let's not forget the combo. You got to have the combo. It's Chicago, baby. Anyone getting hungry besides me? That's what summer food tastes like in Chicago. Fantastic. It's the one thing we all love. But it's all high in, the bad stuff. Salt, sodium, lots of it. Which is when it comes to your high blood pressure, there's nothing worse. It's like sending your heart a get sick card. Now, don't toss away your grill. Just keep some balance. And to help get your blood pressure down, try 120 Life. That's what I do. They now have a new powdered drink mix. I'm drinking it and I love it. Scientifically formulated to help keep your blood pressure down. Plus, the new powdered drink, very, very good for you. It has 1 gram of sugar and 5 calories. 120 Life, the natural juice. It's a drink that works without the side effects of pill to control your blood pressure. Check out 120life.com. That's 120life.com and use coupon code LIBERTY to save 15% on your order. Plus, free shipping. And get this, you'll earn customer rewards point with every order. 120 Life. We need more stuff like this.
Hey, our friend Luke Proxmire is in the building, insurance guy upstairs. He brought us Topo Chico. Me, Topo Chico, and you, Bubbly.
This is so hard. Bubbly Mango is the hardest one to find. This is why I have to go to 3 different stores. I'm going to treasure this forever. Thank you, Lou.
Hey, let this be a lesson
Bubbly.
to our other listeners. You can drop off care packages for us. You listen to the show. We need something. We desire something.
That's so sweet.
Thank you,
gosh,
Luke.
thank
Very
you.
nice of you.
Made my day.
It's the season of Discovery sales event at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Dan Proft here. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned Mazda, you need to visit Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. You'll find the Mazda you want, and the price you see is the price you get. No games, no gimmicks. And right now is a great time to buy a new Mazda with limited time incentives that only come around once a year. You can lease a 2023 Mazda CX-30 for $412 a month, or 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $410 a month, for 36 months with approved credit through Mazda Capital Services for qualified buyers. Just add license, title, tax, and the $324.24 dock fee. Plus, stop in today and ask about the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90. And to keep your Mazda running great all year round, schedule your next service appointment right online at WilkinsMazdaCars.com. That's WilkinsMazdaCars.com. Wilkins Mazda is conveniently located in Elmhurst off York Road and 290, just minutes from Oakbrook downtown and Schaumburg. Experience the next level of excellence at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Visit WilkinsMazdaCars.com and see dealer for details.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at ReliefFactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com. Be the next success story.
Attention, your money is now controlled by the U.S. government.
Picture a world where your every purchase is monitored, tracked, and controlled by those in power to suppress the freedoms of those they see fit. My name is Jason Hansen. I become very focused on the impending rollout of the central bank digital currency. I've partnered with Advantage Gold to offer you a solution. Claim your free gold protection kit from Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800.
Team gave me a custom consultation that found additional profit centers in my company. They've helped me focus on a new direction for my business. It's not easy to relax when you own a business, but with our partnership with Turnkey, I feel confident, resolved, and ready to deliver. Now, I'm going to relax, have a Peroni, and depend on the direction Turnkey has helped me embrace. They can help your business too. Visit turnkey.pro to start a conversation today. That's turnkey.pro.
The pros at Turnkey share your values. They know IT and they know small business. They're Chicagoland's small business champions. Visit turnkey.pro to book your appointment today. That's turnkey.pro.
As you walk around the yard this spring, you'll likely see some cracked or sunken concrete. Maybe a sidewalk, stoop, driveway, or patio. These problems will only get worse, but there is an easy solution. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer with Permaseal. Our poly-level process can raise and level sunken concrete quickly and effectively, putting an end to eyesores and dangerous trip hazards. Poly-level is the quickest, least expensive, and most durable system to repair your sunken concrete problems. So don't live with a problem that will only get worse. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL for a free estimate. Permaseal has been helping Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana homeowners making their homes healthier and more valuable for over 40 years and has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't replace it, raise it. Call 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Don't best for be and better Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Stuff is pretty good. I mean,
Topo Chico? So now we're living right here. Topo Chico.
Things are looking up.
Yeah. Let's take a picture of this, see if we can get a gig as our spokesmodels.
I could be a hand model, right?
That's good. This Topo Chico is really gaining popularity. I'm telling you.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Look out, Pellegrino.
I like San Pellegrino Orenciano.
I know. Look out. I'm just telling you.
I became addicted to it on at the wedding. It's really good for the summer.
All right.
I want to see those wedding pictures, though, soon.
Okay.
All right, coming up at 8:38, we got some business to attend to. John Miltmore from the Foundation for Economic Education joins us to talk a little COVID, talk a little poor economics laws, and so on and so forth.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike.
71, and we could hit 92 by later today, but it's hot and steamy weather settling in for the next 4 to 5 days, and air quality will also be impacted. Texas is refusing to take down a floating border wall that continues to bob in the Rio Grande. The governor says his state is ready to continue pushing back.
They're using some obscure statute to try to stop us from continuing to deploy those buoys. Is not grounded in law whatsoever. We believe we have the right to do so, and we will take this lawsuit all the way to the United States Supreme Court.
Democrat Congressman Joaquin Castro is not surprised.
Greg Abbott understands that what he's doing is illegal, but he's taking a page from Donald Trump's playbook and doing it until they force him to stop.
The Department of Justice has filed suit against Texas this week. A woman stabbed to death late last night inside a Chicago apartment on the South Shore. Around 9 p.m., officers responded to the 2400 block of East 74th. A woman whose age and name is not reported at this moment was discovered with multiple stab wounds to the body. A fire broke out in a junkyard in Inglewood this morning. Fire broke out just before 5 a.m. 15 to 20 cars on fire near a rail yard in the 600 block of West 59th. And an investigation is underway after a Chicago police officer was shot on the south side near 56th and South Shields. The officer suffered a gunshot wound to the hand and remains hospitalized in good condition. A father and son are now charged with felony burglary and attempted theft for trying to steal an ATM in Northwest Indiana. 41-year-old Blake Tweedy and 23-year-old Brandon Tweedy are suspects in similar crimes. Crosstown Series heads to the south side. White Sox take on the Cubs at guaranteed rate. First pitch at 7:10. 8:35. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't sure what to think.
Your concern is that the Ukrainians, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. Where's the concern for the United States in that?
Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern.
I don't think "that's not my concern" means what Mike Pence thinks it means. And I don't have a clue.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, I'm Raquel.
And I'm Babette.
Here to invite you to listen to our show, Belly of the Beast,
where we tackle all the hot topics and issues that you are talking about today.
So join us each week for our
hard-hitting,
fun,
informative,
topical,
out there
radio show where we leave nothing on the table.
Belly of the Beast, heard every Saturday evening at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer. And follow us on Facebook at Belly of the Beast IL.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I've been taking it for some time. We saw the ad and we thought we would give it a try. And I noticed after the first month, we had more energy and we just felt better. I told my doctor too, and she said, this sounds like a really good, healthy product for you to be taking. We plan to take it for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
8:38, let's get an update on the roads. We do that in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And the Kennedy, just a reminder, they have a construction overnight lane shifting beginning tonight inbound between Diversey and Armitage. It's going to throw you off for tonight and for tomorrow morning. And the Kennedy right now is at 90 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. On the Ike right now, we're watching 75 minutes slow and go from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, right now it's jammed up Western Avenue into the Dan Ryan merge. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Hazy day. Will start an extended period of heat and humidity. 92 today, 90 tomorrow, 95 on Thursday, 94 with an afternoon thunderstorm on Friday. 71 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Dr. Vinay Prasad, he's a medical doctor. That's why I said doctor.
Right.
But he's also a professor at UC San Francisco. He was one of the heretics who actually asked questions and did follow the science and data rather than just repeating the fortune cookie bromides cooked up by the CDC. Well, he's co-authored a new paper in the New England Journal of Medicine. Shocked they published it. He and a colleague proved that Israeli studies, which the FDA relied on, are confounded. Boosters reduce non-COVID deaths far too much to be true. And the Israeli authors of this study conceded the conclusion, the study in question, conceded the conclusions that were offered by Dr. Prasad and his colleagues. So millions of people got unproven boosters. He says FDA failed. FDA failed. Dr. Vinay Prasad.
Do you know how many elderly they encourage to get those boosters? Because this affects you. You need to be in line.
Yeah. Here's the 2021 study that was used to push the vax mandates and boosters. Mandates too, not just boosters. Don't forget the mandates.
No, never, ever forget that.
Using observational methods, these Israeli researchers calculated and adjusted 90% lower first vaccine, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine booster, than among those who did not receive the booster. 90% lower. They found 65 COVID-19 associated deaths among participants in the booster group and 137 among those in the non-booster group. That's a 95% difference. In a subsequent letter, the same group reported 963 deaths not related to COVID-19 in the non-booster group. 441 not related to COVID in the booster. So again, more than twice as much mortality, they argued. And what they actually found that not taking the booster caused a 0.2% lower mortality rate across all non-COVID related deaths than taking the booster. Just the opposite. I mean, it's marginal, but it's the claims that were made to buttress the mandates that were imposed, not to mention the cultural pressure associated, and they got it wrong. Follow the science and data, because if somebody invokes, I have the science and data, then you're supposed to, as we said for the last 3 years, as if the science has ever settled. It's not. By the way, you may want to apply that to things like the climate discussion, the gender identity discussion. John Miltmore joins us now. He's the managing editor of FEE.org, Foundation for Economic Education, FEE.org. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Dan. Nice to meet you, Amy.
And so, this is just another aspect of the COVID fallout. You've written recently about the federal funding of COVID-related research. We've got Rand Paul making a criminal referral on Tony Fauci. That's not going to go anywhere, at least not in the short term. Tell us about your angle into looking at what we're to understand coming out of what we did to ourselves over the last 3 years.
Yeah, first, just a quick point on Dr. Prasad. I met him in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago. I was on a panel with him, and the people on that panel, some were very hostile to vaccines. Dr. Prasad was not one of them. He was somebody who still, I think, believed in their efficacy. So just for listeners to know, this isn't somebody that doesn't believe in vaccination. He spoke out and still believed it could, save lives. So I just thought it was that was noteworthy. But yeah, if you look at the federal money trail, it's pretty wild. I've been digging into this a little bit, and it goes back. I'm not joking. About 10 years. This story goes back. We'll start in 2019 in November, where you had several lab workers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China who got really ill, and they were taken to the hospital, and they had COVID symptoms, and that story came out in the Wall Street Journal in 2021. We didn't know who those people were, but the journal story did have intelligence sources in the United States government who said they were 3 lab workers. They were very ill and they had COVID symptoms. Fast forward a couple of years from there, and we do have reporting now on the identities of those people. And one of the people was Ben Hu. And the reason Ben Hu matters is because we have records that show that the U.S. government was funding Hu's research. He received several grants going back to 2014, totaling about $40 million. And so people would say, well, why does this matter? It matters for several reasons. The first is if we have solid evidence that Hu was one of the people that got COVID, he would be the patient zero, right? He is the person that one of several, 3 people who got COVID first. And if we have that, we know the origins of COVID, which is one of those things we've been trying to find out for several years. This story is pretty wild because if you look, even bringing up that theory for a while would get you censored. You could maybe get fired over it. You could get kicked off social media for it. But the closer we look, we see the people that actually looked at the scientists that published the first research on it, they themselves privately believed that it was likely this virus was engineered.
Yeah, now 54% of Democrats believe the virus originated in the virology lab when you were, as you were saying, you were ridiculed and censored if you said that in the first couple of years.
The biggest part of this story is one that's just developing now, is we have all these messages that there's 5 authors on this study published in Nature in March 2020. And the study said, no, this is a natural origin virus, right? This emerged naturally. The scientists were very clear on that point. Well, privately, those Slack messages are released, and they were saying the opposite, right? They were saying, like, I can't believe the only scenario I see here is this is an engineered virus. There was about 60 quotes in their Slack messages that actually support the hypothesis that it was engineered versus a natural origin. So now what we're seeing, there's an emerging group of people, scientists, who are trying to get Nature to retract that paper. Like, Nature has corrected the paper. They acknowledge that's not, the findings aren't true. But now there are several scientists at universities from Columbia and Rutgers and others who are saying that we need a full retraction of that paper because they're alleging fraud. They're saying the scientists knew that what they were writing was not true.
Well, and something else, too, to your point about Ben Hu, this also goes to Rand Paul's criminal referral that Tony Fauci lied about funding gain-of-function research.
Yeah, I think it's true. Here's what you have. Yeah, I think there were people lying to Congress. I think there was people just recently who were not being truthful when they said one of the authors of that paper I mentioned in Nature, they had a grant before Tony Fauci. The grant was pending. And when you have a $9 million grant pending, and I don't want to say anything definitively. We don't know, but there's a lot of people that think there was a certain. They went in. They wanted the results of that study to say this is a natural origin virus. And the closer we look at this, it's really clear that the reason there was all this pressure to say no, this didn't come from a lab, it came from naturally, is because the United States government, was funding this risky research, and there was a huge incentive then to say that no, this didn't come from a lab. This was just an accidental virus that emerged from nature. And authors published that. They published it knowing that was not true. So where this goes from here is anyone's guess, but it does look very much like this is a classic cover-up story.
Well, are we still funding the Wuhan Virology Lab, or is that place shut down?
I think we've seen a pause on funding. I haven't looked at this myself. I just seen the headlines. I didn't look at but I think they're, President Biden's proposing a 10-year pause on funding. I think that doesn't get nowhere near to what we really need to do. If you go back and look, we had State Department cables that knew that Wuhan was on a secure lab. Okay, we had people from the U.S. government over there warning that this was a problem waiting to happen. Those warnings were ignored, and it looks like the likeliest scenario is that a virus escaped from that lab and killed millions and millions of people, which is why there's a clear incentive to make sure that people believe no, this didn't come from a virus. It came from nature, because we were actually helping fund that research.
Well, right, and this is again going back to Rand Paul, since he's been so solid on this. That's his point too. Is okay, Wuhan, fine, but this calls for a conversation about first principles here. Should we be funding gain of function research? Certainly on enemy soil, that doesn't make much sense. But I don't care if it's in Minnesota. That's the same question. Should at a foundational level, should we fund this kind of research, or maybe this is not something that we should be doing, manipulating viruses?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look, virologists themselves debate that issue vociferously. There's a lot that believe we should not. Others think that this can serve a greater good, and it can serve humanity. We always knew there was a danger, right? And what we're seeing now is like the worst case scenario happened, like a deadly virus escaped. And now you have a bunch of people scrambling to make sure they're not blamed. And it's interesting, if you look at people in these Slack messages and emails, they're talking, they've really convinced themselves, well, we have to do this for science, right? Because we need people to understand that this was natural, because if not, oh gosh, this could be brutal to science. It's not just brutal to science. Like science did not do this. Humans did this. Right. And what they really want to do is they don't want to be held accountable for the choices they make.
Well, they also don't want the money flow to stop. I mean, or to be reduced in any way. I mean, this is like any bureaucracy. Our budgets are supposed to grow inexorably in perpetuity. There's not supposed to be any right sizing or closing down of one research area and so on and so forth. We just continue to expand our footprint. That's the inertia at every level of government.
Tens and tens of billions of dollars are being doled out, all the time to these organizations, and there are those incentives. It's one of the authors of the paper I mentioned in Nature recently. Like it was his Slack message said 10-year when their paper was published. It's source number one, and he was like, he made it professional. It wasn't about this virus that escaped as millions of people were going to die from it. He was happy that his paper, which again I would argue was clearly fraudulent, was going to get him tenure.
Yeah, right. Right. As again, the Ambrose Bierce, the illusion that private vice can become public virtue because they have a credential, because they're from some government agency, they're somehow you're better or they're beyond reproach. We need to change our mentality with respect to that. Just to be healthy, skeptical in a healthy way. Ask questions. Don't just accept diktats and rinse and repeat them, for God's sakes. John Miltimore, managing editor at FEE.org, Foundation for Economic Education, FEE.org. John, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great morning, Dan and Amy.
Thanks, you too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Are you growing your manufacturing team this year and need new employees? Turn to Monarch Technical Services. They've been leading the Chicago staffing industry for manufacturing and engineering since 1987. You'll appreciate their vetting process. They meet every candidate in person to interview and test for specific skills. Monarch assesses experience by using blueprint, shop math, part measurement, and CNC program exams. Their quality skills assessor was once a plant manager who worked on manufacturing equipment, so he recognizes who has the skills to fit each job requirement. Monarch Technical now offers a 30-day free trial with any day one direct hire. This allows you to make sure direct hire employees are fitting in before fees are paid. And they have a unique payment option which allows the finder's fee to be paid in 6 equal monthly payments. So if you're growing your manufacturing team this year and searching for exceptional talent, contact Monarch Technical Services at 847-342-1221. That's 847-342-1221, or online at monarchtechnical.com. That's monarchtechnical.com.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
Let's face it, talking about life insurance is never easy. But after we watched a close friend lose her husband with no insurance, we decided that wasn't going to happen to our family.
Yeah, but shopping for life insurance can be almost as difficult as talking about it.
But then we heard about Ethos Life Insurance. They're a new kind of life insurance, built for people on a busy schedule who don't have time for unnecessary doctor's visits, fine print, or hidden fees. You know, who want to keep it simple.
I couldn't believe how easy it was. We answered a few basic questions, and within minutes, we had an estimate of what it would cost and what sort of policy made sense for us.
I never imagined a life insurance could be so affordable.
And accessible.
The peace of mind knowing that our future is secure, it just removes a lot of the fear around getting older and...
Yeah, the unexpected.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm glad we went with ethoslife.com.
Go to ethoslife.com now for your free estimate. That's ETHOSlife.com. Ethoslife.com.
The roof was completely gone.
All of our memories being wiped away.
The rain is what got
20 minutes of sheer terror.
And you can feel it in your body.
I watched the fire move down the canyon.
The rumbling of the house.
My son started screaming, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. In the name of Jesus, we are not gonna die.
At Samaritan's Purse, we bring spiritual and physical aid to hurting people around the world. We go into dangerous situations because in disaster, in disease, in war, Jesus calls us to love our neighbor, to heal the sick, feed the hungry, restore the broken. All who work and volunteer with Samaritan's Purse follow the example of Jesus. We go to serve, not to be served. And we go in Jesus' name. Join us at SamaritansPurse.org. That's SamaritansPurse.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
I just combined my Topo Chico with Balance of Nature.
You better be careful. That's like eating Pop Rocks and then drinking carbonated beverage. It'll blow up your stomach.
Oh, we know.
Of course, urban myth.
Yeah, urban myth, and people fell for it.
Enjoy your Topo Chico. You're welcome for me introducing to you and for one of my friends providing it for us. Yeah, enjoy it.
Luke, thank you. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. We'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
CPD officer shot on Chicago's South Side. A 10-year-old boy fires a shot